man with the info. Whatever you want to know, come join the man with the info show. It's the info. It's the man with the info. Whatever you want to know, come join the man with the info show. It's the info. It's the info. Whatever you want to know, come join the man with the info show. It's the info. We got the info. Whatever you want to know, come join the man with the info show. It's the info man. You can call him information info man. Kicking knowledge all over this nation. Win, lose, or draw. You can bring your hate team, but if you want to win, please don't bring your debate team. We talking Japanese shogun, Aztecs, Olmecs, and African Dogon. It's the info. It's the man with the info. Whatever you want to know, come join the man with the info show. It's the info. It's the man with the info. Whatever you want to know, come join the man with the info show. It's the info. It's the info. Whatever you want to know, come join the man with the info show. It's the info. We got the info. Whatever you want to know, come join the man with the info show. It's the info man. You can call him information info man. Kicking knowledge all over this nation. Win, lose, or draw. You can bring your hate team, but if you want to win, please don't bring your debate team. We talking Japanese shogun, Aztecs, Olmecs, and African Dogon. That's for sure, son. Keep your knowledge like the HBCU college. Info man in the cockpit, he the pilot. Like the lunch to show off like a spaceship. All you have to get our info man face still. Each one teach one. Mama told, let's go minister and preach, son. It's the info. It's the man with the info. Whatever you want to know, come join the man with the info show. It's the info. It's the man with the info. Whatever you want to know, come join the man with the info show. It's the info. It's the info. Whatever you want to know, come join the man with the info show. It's the info. We got the info. Whatever you want to know, come join the man with the info show. It's the info. It's the man with the info. Whatever you want to know, come join the man with the info show. It's the info. It's the man with the info. Whatever you want to know, come join the man with the info show. It's the info. It's the info. Whatever you want to know, come join the man with the info show. It's the info. We got the info. Whatever you want to know, come join the man with the info show. It's the info man. You can call him information info man. Kicking knowledge all over this nation. Win, lose, or draw. You can bring your hate team, but if you want to win, please don't bring your debate team. We talking Japanese shogun, Aztecs, Olmecs, and African Dogon.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Information Man. We're live tonight. Sorry for the delay. I was having some technical problems with some of my equipment. It seemed like nothing was operating properly. But we are on. We're going to try to make it a great live stream tonight. I've got my main man online right now with me. You all know him as Marlo's Corner. Great boxing analysis, great boxing program, sports program, and talk, social talk as well. The brother is here with me. Let me give him a little respect where respect is due, because you know how I do it here. I always have those sound effects for you, baby. Marlo's Corner, brother.
What's happening with you, fam? What's up with it, everybody?
Brother, let me tell you something, man. I have been wanting to get you on the program. You know me, I've been interviewing this person, that person, what have you. But I've been wanting to get you on for a long time, brother. I love your program. I'm a fan of it. I enjoy the commentary. You make a hell of a lot of sense. I was telling the other brother that I was on with the other night, brother Ben, who does sports show, that a lot of the brothers that I hear in YouTube and all the other alternative platforms make a hell of a lot more sense than these buffoons that you see or hear on your ESPN, your Fox News, your Fox Sport One. You brothers make a hell of a lot more sense in your analysis. It's on point. It's top notch. And brother, what I want to do tonight is get into a little bit of boxing talk, a little bit of your social thoughts about what's happening in this society. Now, are you a fan of the great Sugar Ray Robinson?
Of course.
Let me play something for y'all out there. Go right ahead. You was gonna say something. Go ahead, brother.
Oh, I said of course.
Let me just go right ahead, brother.
Can you put the link in the chat for Brother Trey X?
Here we go. I'm gonna do that right now. Give me 1 minute, brother Trey X. Let's get you on board, get you a proper introduction as well. So let me see here. Boom. All right. And here we go. Trey X, here we go. Boom. All right, brother Trey X, I just left the link in the chat room. Go ahead and come on in. Let me play a little bit of this Sugar Ray Robinson for you folks. Just a little taste of this.
The magnificent Henry Armstrong retains his welterweight crown with a one-sided decision over Ernie Roderick in London. Slick boxing Billy Conn becomes the new light heavyweight champion. Also in 1939, a portly light heavyweight in white trunks wins the National Diamond Belt Amateur title. His name on the program is listed as Jacob LaMotta. Heavyweight champion Joe Louis continues to destroy all opposition. Two-ton Tony Galento is one of the victims. In New York City, the finals of the 1939 Golden Glove boxing competition take place in Madison Square Garden. Heavyweight champion Joe Louis is refereeing one of the amateur finals, which makes the night all the more colorful. But tonight's crowd is anxiously awaiting the featherweight finals. An 18-year-old youngster has stormed through his previous bouts to reach tonight's finals. His name is Ray Robinson.
Ray Robinson in white trunks comes out for round one against Louis Valentine. This is the finals in the featherweight division of the 1939 Golden Glove. In reaching tonight's final, Robinson has shown everyone that there's a brilliant young star rising in the boxing world. In his 5 bouts prior to tonight, only one man has gone the full 3-round distance. Robinson was awarded round one by all the judges. Here in round two, Louis Valentine in black trunks is unable to cope with this fast-punching fighter. Although only 19, Robinson appears to have a boxing finesse far beyond his years. A pulverizing right crashes off Valentine's jaw. Valentine goes down, and the referee picks up the count. Valentine is up at the count of 5, and Robinson moves in to finish it. Ray would love to add Valentine to his list of KO victims here in round two.
And so, folks, that's the great Sugar Ray Robinson. Many believe that he's pound for pound the best fighter that ever lived. I've seen some documentary where the great one, Muhammad Ali has given him praise and says, I believe he's the best. I heard Joe Louis clearly state on some documentaries saying that he believed that Sugar Ray Robinson was the best. Now, we have with us another distinguished brother on the panel tonight, my brother Trey. What's going on, brother?
What's up, brother Information Man? What's up to everybody in the chat? I appreciate you for having me come on tonight, brother. How you doing?
You brothers are the best. Let me give you your proper respect, brother. Here we go.
Appreciate that.
Brothers, I'm so glad to have you on tonight. I have to apologize once again to the family out there. We were a little late, a few minutes off, but some technical problems, and then I'm trying to get the brothers in. But thank you for being with us. The chat room's popping off right now. I think I need to give a little bit of love to folks in the chat room. That would be the proper thing to do tonight. Just so you brothers know, we are radio live on speaker.com tonight, which hits every platform right away. I just got approval for Spotify. I'm on iTunes, brother, and iHeart Podcasting, Google Play, Archer. So we're going to be, we're pretty much live in effect tonight on all platforms. Facebook Live is on right now for me. My Instagram Live. So we're going to definitely viral this, get this to everybody at all corners of the earth. And let me give a little love to folks in the chat room, because that's the best thing that I could be doing right now, because people have taken the time out of their schedule to be with us tonight, and they were waiting patiently. So what I've got to do, let me see here. Let me go into the other screen here. Let's see. We got my man, Real Aaron Collins, in the chat room. Brenda Johnson from England is in the house. King Wage is with us tonight. Exposing Fake Black, Fake Pro Black. We got Afrocentric TV. I saw that sister in there tonight. It's good to see you, sister. We got Max Evans in the house. And I'm sure as the night goes on, the other people that come in, I'll give them a little bit of love. Let me scroll up a little bit. See who we have upstairs that I have not seen. We got my man Hanks. What's going on? Matthews is in the house. We got my man Yahweh. Nikki's in there. Franks is in there. Bon. How you doing, Sister Bon? Love you. Glad to see everybody with us tonight. We got Brayson 1. We got a few folks that are coming in. I'm kind of bad with some names, but bear with me, folks. We got my man Hill. We got Sheila Holmes. Sister Holmes is in there. Holmes, I'm saying that correct. And everybody, as you come in, definitely speak to everybody, speak to each other, get along with each other, and listen to this great talk that we're gonna put down tonight. And if you're new to the channel, definitely subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notification, and everybody do me a favor. You know I'm gonna always say this: share this video tonight, this presentation tonight, throughout all your platforms in terms of social media. These brothers are graciously giving their time to come on here tonight, and I want to plug the Marlo's Corner. Everybody needs to subscribe to Marlo's Corner tonight. If I do not see an increase in their subscribership after this, I'll be sorely disappointed. So I need everybody out there listening that's not in the chat room tonight, and those that are in, subscribe to Marlo's Corner's boxing program. Like your life count on it. Do it. It'll be the best thing you've invested in mentally. The brothers are fantastic. They're a hell of a lot better than what you get on your generic television programs and broadcasts. So please do it, folks. Subscribe, share, support each other. I love it. I love it. I love it. Now to the brothers in question here, brothers. Woo! Like I said, I'm glad to have you on tonight. You heard me play a little bit of soundbite, a video from the great one himself, Sugar Ray Robinson. And brothers, where do I start now? I can tell you for sure, I grew up personally looking at all the great boxers in the late 70s, you know, in the 70s as a youngster, late 70s, and in the early 80s, you know, your Muhammad Ali's, your Ken Nortons, your Foremans, your Larry Holmes. I grew up under that era of seeing those brothers just like yourself. And I really personally think that it hasn't been the same. But that was my love for boxing. Ali. Sometimes I used to run around with my drawers on in the house as a kid, you know, going like this with my hands and acting like I'm Ali. You know what I'm saying? Come on, I'm the greatest with my drawers on and I'm moving around and I'm going crazy. This is how I grew up. Now, with that said, brothers, I'm going to go to each one of you. Tell me, what is your journey to where you are with the love that you have for boxing? And what in the hell made you say, you know what, let's create a boxing channel? Anyone want to take it? Go ahead, brothers.
Well, Marlo had to step away for a second, so I'll go ahead and go. Well, for me, boxing has always been like a part of my family. My grandfather loved boxing, and he passed that love on to my mother. And like my mother pretty much passed it on to me. And it really came home for me when I went to the barber shop one day, and my barber had played the Montel Griffin versus Roy Jones Jr. first fight, the fight where Roy Jones got disqualified. And I was just so amazed by how Roy Jones fought, and it made me want to fight. So I ended up moving to Dallas with my mom, and I started boxing. She would take me to the boxing gym. She would pretty much drive like 2 hours round trip every single day, Monday through Friday, to take me to the gym. We watch fights together. We order pay-per-views. That's my fight buddy. Well, not so much now since I'm doing a YouTube channel. I'm talking to the subscribers all the time. But yeah, it was really me and my mom, you know what I'm saying? And as far as the channel, I used to just go to channels and I would be in the comment section chatting and stuff. And I started making some acquaintances. And one of my friends, Todd Legacy, he invited me to come do a live stream with him one day. I go back and listen to it sometimes because it's kind of funny to listen to. Because I could tell I done kind of came a long way since then, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, we just started doing it, and I started seeing that people would stay for a long time and they would listen. They was interested. I'm a goofy person. I'm probably gonna be more on my best behavior since I'm over here being a guest today, but well, tonight. But if y'all come to Marlo's Corner, man, y'all will see how it is. I like interacting with the chat and talking to the people and stuff. I really love boxing. I feel like I got a lot of knowledge about it anyway. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's how I got into it, man. And I'm glad I did. I enjoyed it a lot. The subscribers and brought like a lot of joy into my life. Seriously.
Well, brother, let me let you know tonight, I want the authentic you. So, you know, feel free to interact with the folks, just like what you do on your channel. I've been watching y'all. You two do a fantastic job. Feel free to interact with the people in the chat room. If you see something that they're writing, brother, go on and say what it is. If they have any questions and you can see it from your vantage point, go on and answer it. From my vantage point, if I see a question that someone has, I'm going to pass it on to you, brothers, to get your opinions. But let me also give some love to M. Mitch, who's in the chat room tonight as well. Thank you for being here. But I just want you brothers to be your authentic self, as you always are anyway, 100% authentic, real, you see. So that's what I want to.
Okay, I got you. I got to say this, brother. I appreciate everybody that's that normally be on the corner that then came over to the Information Man show tonight to support us and stuff. Man, I appreciate that, man. That's all love for real.
And I appreciate everybody that's in your corner. I appreciate you, brothers. Let me see, brother. I know we got Brother Marlo is not here right now. We're gonna wait till I'm gonna let him come back on in, but I'm gonna ask you some more questions though, brother. The concept of the show. Where did the concept come from in terms of the style? Where do you see your program evolving? Where do you want to take it off? Because you guys are at about 400. You got about 4-something subscribers now. I remember you were just at about, what do you guys had? You had like 80 or 70. I remember you guys were at a small number, and your channel was taking off step by step by step by step. You see. So where do you see? Where do you want to see the channel evolve and grow?
Well, the concept of the channel comes from Marlo. Marlo is a very, very intelligent brother. People might not understand that. Like the tagline for the show, hashtag GTFOMG, get the fuck out my gym. Sorry for the profanity. That come from Marlo, and that was like an organic creation. He's the person that came up with the concept of the trivia that we do. People love the boxing trivia. He's the person that runs the giveaways for the most part. A lot of that stuff comes out of his own pocket. Like he done probably spent close to $1,000 already just sending out prizes and stuff that people done won because he be sending next day delivery and all this type of stuff. The way that we interact with the chat, that comes from Marlo too. You know what I'm saying? Because I can remember like some of our first episodes, like we would just go off and just be talking and stuff on the panel. And Marlo would always be like, hold on, let's keep the chat involved. So that comes from Marlo, you know what I mean? And where do I see the show going? I mean, our show, we consider it like a hardcore boxing channel, but at the same time, it's like we humble with it though, because we got some people on the channel that are very knowledgeable, but we got like a family environment. You know what I mean? Like whether you're a beginner or intermediate level or an expert level type of boxing fan, you can come through. And one of our subscribers, Gregory Wyatt, he calls our channel the Digital Community Center on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? So it's all about family and everybody is invited. and everybody gonna feel welcome and you're gonna be respected.
Okay, cool. Do we have Brother Marlo back on? Is he still? Has he stepped? He's still absence right now.
I don't know what he got going on. I see he's still on mute, so he's still gone.
May have something personal going on.
I got you though, brother. Your boy Trex. I do most of the talking on the show anyway. I got you.
No, I just want to make sure everything's okay. He may be dealing with some personal issues, what have you. But brother, let me see, brother, this whole the boxing and the history of boxing. Now, the man that I believe personally is the true greatest of all times is Brother Jack Johnson. He came up in a time, and I don't need to tell you, you know this very well. He came up in a time where they fought bare knuckle fists. He came up in a time when it was harsh racism, harsh segregation. Okay. He was what you would call Deion Sanders, and before Deion Sanders in terms of his flash, you know, fox fur coat, you know, fancy cars. And of course, they didn't like the fact that he fancied, and I know the sisters out there won't like this, but he had fancied white women at that time. And at that time was a time when that was very much taboo. And they hated the fact that he was whipping white folks behind and sticking it right in their face. And, you know, being a pretty loud and a pretty, what do we call it? When I say loud, like being bigger than life, you know, he shined like a star, his clothing, his cars, the way he carried himself. And of course, he was driven out of the country. And as a result of being driven out of the country, a lot of times he said he was treated better when he was in Europe than when he was here in America. And they made him throw the fight where I think he took a dive in the fight, in the 40th something round or something like that. I mean, they fought a lot of rounds in those days, and he was whooping a lot of ass. So what are your thoughts about this brother, his legacy? You know, he's, you know, I know the sisters out there won't like the idea that he was swirling a little. He was doing some swirling. Okay, but what are your thoughts about Jack Johnson?
Well, most of your facts were definitely correct. The only thing that you was off a little bit is that when you said that he fought with bare knuckles, the bare knuckles, they went out of the picture once the Queensberry rules were established, and that was like at the end of the 19th century. You know what I'm saying? With James L. Sullivan, the first American heavyweight champion. And Jack Johnson, he won the heavyweight championship from Tommy Burns in 1908. So that was way after Queensberry rules had already been established and stuff. You know what I'm saying? So he fought mainly with gloves. You know what I mean? Okay. But go ahead, brother.
No, I want to say thank you. Look, I'm in a journey of always learning. We don't know everything. We're always learning. So thank you for correcting me on that. You're actually right. Let me tell me if I'm wrong or right, but this is about education tonight. What I need you to do for me tonight, brother, and people always know I play this. This is school tonight. This is education. I'm going to learn, so take me to school. School tonight, baby. So I need you to take me to school, brother. So tell me if I'm wrong or right. Did bare knuckles fighting occur in the 1800s, and then it phased out as they went into the turn of the century, the 1900s?
Yeah, all right. We had a set of rules called the London Prize rules first, and then that's where people were fighting with bare knuckles. And then came along the Queensberry rules, and that's when we get the modern day rules like the 3-minute rounds, fighting with gloves and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And that was like at the end of the 19th century, late 1800s. And then from then on, we started fighting with gloves. You know what I mean? Okay. And as far as Jack Johnson, I kind of got mixed feelings about him a little bit. I know he was a great man and stuff like that. But me personally, I love my black women. And just seeing him being in such a powerful position, but elevating the white woman. Mm-hmm. And I ain't trying to get on nobody that, you know, in the interracial relationships and stuff, that's your business. But as far as him being like a public figure, such a powerful public figure, because like in those days, a lot of the heroes for the black community came from boxing. So at that time, he was probably like the biggest star that you know, black people ever had. And to see him elevate a white woman like that, that just didn't sit right with me. I would have just felt a lot better about him if I saw him elevating a black woman, you know what I'm saying? But that don't take away from the fact that they screwed him over, you know what I'm saying? Take him to jail for transporting women across state lines for immoral purposes, even though the woman that he was transporting was his wife, you know what I'm saying? But he was definitely an important figure. I like how he handled his business, and even though like when I say I like how he handled his business, like I don't like the fact that he elevated the white woman, but I do understand that women are like pillars of society. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like he had taken possession of their prized possession. You see what I'm saying? So I do kind of like that, kind of sticking to the man a little bit. But I would have had a lot better opinion about him if he would have elevated the black woman with him.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you too, and that's what you just said is exactly what I want to do tonight. I want to mix in the boxing with the social issues of the day. So this is going to be a combination of boxing talk with social issues mixed in there. I simply said it plain as it was, and I agree with you. I didn't like the fact that he paraded white women around, which in fact, if you look at things historically, the white women, whether it be indirectly or directly, have been the cause of bringing many of black men down. His fetish for white women, not just his fancy cars and flash. I don't think that's what did it. It was the fact that he was defiant, and the fact that he was going to date white women. He was going to marry whatever. And the system did not like that. Society did not like that. And in fact, I feel like you, if the brother had been a little bit more woke and stuck with a black woman, I think it would have been a little bit more difficult for them to compromise him. And tell me if I'm wrong, he was compromised because he could not let the usual suspect, we speak in code here sometime too, he could not let the usual suspect go. And the usual suspect, and everybody in the chat room knows what I'm talking about, the usual suspect caused his demise, unfortunately, that caused him to drag back to America. Now tell me if it's wrong or not, because you get these movies and they always put this creative licensing in movies. Is it true that the only reason why he was allowed to come back into the country was, one, they had leverage on him because his mother was dying, that she was sick, and so they told him he would not be able to go to her funeral, he would not be able to do certain things unless he was willing to do what? Lose a fight, right? Did they cut some kind of deal with Jack Johnson to allow him to come into the country? As it was, do you know what do you know about that part of the history?
Well, I can't say that I'm a Jack Johnson biographer. You know what I'm saying? I know a little bit about him as a fighter. I done seen a documentary or two about him. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not exactly sure. But you might be right though.
Well, the reason why I bring it up, brother, is that I've been a studier of, you know, from that point of view of boxing. The information that I have gathered, when he left to go to Europe, he was in exile, as many black folks at that time were in exile in Europe. He was in exile, and in his only passage back into the country without being arrested and jailed is that he had to give up his championship belt by getting into a fight and losing the fight in order to be able to see his dying mother. That's the story that I've heard. That's what I've seen in documentaries. And once again, the usual suspect was a contributing factor to bringing him down. So in some ways, Jack Johnson, being the great fighter that he was, his coonish, and I must repeat, his coonish ways
caught up to him.
Caught up to him. Yes, brother. Yes, 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 yes.
All right, y'all. My bad. I'm back, y'all.
What's going on, brother? Was you were you in the gym training for your next fight?
Nah.
Let me give a little bit of love to August Dreams in the chat room. I see my man Big L. Big L's been with me for a long time. We're on Speaker Live. So folks out there in Speaker that's listening, I hope that the broadcast sounds a lot better. I had to make a few changes. to make sure the sound comes through better. So I'm using another gadget here, and I hope that the sound is coming through even better tonight for folks that are listening over in speaker. We've got a few folks that'll be coming in on Facebook Live. I got a few folks coming in on Instagram right now. We got Sister Holmes. Sister Holmes, welcome. Sister Holmes, I think I had said your sex wrong, Mrs. Gamma Ray. Check this out, Gamma Ray. Brother Gamma Ray produced a beautiful jazzy piece. He produced a beautiful jazzy piece that I'm going to play over our conversation very lightly. But let me give everybody a little taste of this. This brother is extraordinary. Brother Gamma Ray, thank you for this piece, brother. Let's just play a little bit of this. Little jazzy picks. Yeah, jazz. Now I'll lower the volumes down as we talk. Brother Marlo, we was talking a little bit about Jack Johnson, and I was talking about getting into some of his history. And Brother Trey, you know, he educated me and said, you know, they didn't do bare knuckles fighting in his time. That was before Jack Johnson's time. Mm-hmm. He educated me to that, brother. And then I talked about how Jack Johnson's coonish ways sort of played a major role in his downfall because of his thirst for running around with white women. What are your thoughts about that, brother?
He didn't understand. He couldn't stick it to him that way because the land of the law was gonna catch up to his ass.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, you know, that was that man. You know, that's what his preference. You know, some of us don't agree with it, but
yeah,
definitely caught up with him.
A
lot of things caught up with him. He used to like speeding, driving cars real fast.
Yeah,
and they say when he get pulled over, he'll pay for the ticket right then and there and drive off fast again. Like, so he was living his own. He was making his own laws apparently.
Yeah, I was saying, brother, that Jack Johnson was probably, like, you know, in terms of a flashy athlete of modern times, he was a Deion Sanders before Deion.
Probably, you know? Yep.
That's cool. So he was a flashy athlete, you know, clothing, his money,
cars,
living the life, drinking, all the whole 9 yards. He was a hit of his time. But brother, lay it on us. Who's really your favorite boxer?
Sugar Ray Leonard.
Hey, let me respond to a couple of these messages I done seen real quick, if you don't mind. Yeah, I see the homie Max Evans. How you doing, brother? He said, who invented the shoulder roll?
Woo!
It's kind of hard to say. It's kind of hard to pinpoint stuff like that because boxing has such a vast history. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was like people was boxing in slavery days. Like, I have even heard that the word stable in boxing comes from slavery days, because it was like a slave master that had like a stable of fighters, you know what I'm saying? So it's kind of hard to pinpoint that kind of stuff. And then I saw one more that I wanted to respond to. Dang, the comments had kind of got away from me kind of quick. It was one of them. Golly, he was talking about the first registered fighting was in 1681 in England. I done lost the comment, man. Golly.
I see another one saying, how well does dancing translate to boxing and vice versa?
Okay.
Dancing can translate to boxing because boxing is built around footwork so much. One of the top pound-for-pound boxers right now is Vasil Lomachenko, and his pops made him dance as a youngster. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, dancing definitely has a place in boxing.
Right.
Let me ask you a question, brother. Is that what helped Muhammad Ali? Because he was very good on his feet and very smooth. What are your thoughts?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Muhammad Ali, he was like a heavyweight fighter that moved like a middleweight. It wasn't a boxer before Muhammad Ali like him, and you probably ain't going to see one for a long time like Muhammad Ali. And now, a big part of that was his footwork.
Okay, now I once heard Joe Frazier out of his mouth say that he never saw Muhammad Ali as a true heavyweight. He said that he was a true heavyweight. What are your thoughts about that?
All right, so repeat that again, brother.
I heard a quote. I heard Joe Frazier once on a program make the claim that Muhammad Ali was not what you would call a true heavyweight. He said that he was the true heavyweight. That was Joe Frazier's claim at one point in time on a program that I saw a long time ago when I was a kid. Have you heard that rumor before? Have you? What are your thoughts about that?
That what he said right there can't make any sense. There had to just been some bravado going into one of their fights, because Joe Frazier is a small heavyweight himself. And if you look at all the battles that Muhammad Ali had with Ken Norton and Ernie Shavers and George Foreman, Joe Frazier, all of these different people, I mean, he got one of the most stacked resumes in history of boxing. So he was just talking out the side of his neck, trying to minimize his opponent in his mind going into a fight. That's all that could have been.
Okay.
Right.
Oh, I saw that comment too. Exposing the fake pro-black said boxing started on January the 6th, 1681 in Britain. That's when the first registered boxing match took place. Right. But boxing has a vast history, man. They got Egyptian hieroglyphics with evidence of people boxing in Egypt in 4000 BC. Woo, so we got brother, so we got we got hieroglyphic evidence going back 6,000 years talking about boxing. So
wow,
you know, can't give England too much credit, even though they deserve a little bit.
Wow. Right. Let me ask you a question, brothers. What is the connection of boxing to slavery, to black folks when we were on plantations in the South? How does that connect? I know there's rumor that James Brown, the godfather of soul, he was a youngster, that was something that they would do with the kids. For the white men would make the kids, fight, punch each other, that sort of stuff for entertainment. How is that connected to the slave experience, if it is at all?
I mean, like I said, I have heard it claimed that the word stable comes from slavery. And like in slavery, sometimes the slave masters, they would like take the little boys and they would put bags over their heads. And then they would make them all just start fighting. It would be like a dozen of them in a room, and the last man standing was the person that win. They'd give them a little money or something. But of course, harsh situations like that, pressure makes diamonds. So like we got some fighters like Tom Marlo and Bill Richmond that came out of that situation. And they were some of our first great black fighters. They ended up going over to England and fighting in the bare knuckle. They were fighting against the champion over there, Tom Cribb. You know what I'm saying? So it's a very close connection between boxing, black history, and slavery.
Wow. How does Sugar Ray Robinson is a fantastic boxer in the God of Boxing anthos, and what do you think about how some of these guys would match up today if they had the modern training that a lot of these boxers are privy to have today, the modern training, the way they train today with the skills that they already possess? What do you think? What could they have done if Muhammad Ali or Joe Frazier, if these guys would have had the kind of training and access to the type of technology and nutrition, the way these guys have access to this particular type of regimen today? I mean, they would have to be off the chart, What do you think?
Well, I'll go first. I mean, I would say that boxing is more about skill than physical. Like I done seen fighters like Fernando Vargas that would get on steroids and stuff like that to fight Oscar De La Hoya and still go out there and get the brakes beat off of them. You know what I'm saying? So the nutrition and the physical aspect, that's kind of overplayed a little bit. Boxing is all about skill. And when it comes to the skills are kind of eroding a little bit today. You know what I'm saying? Like the fighters don't rely on the jab as much as they used to. They don't go to the body as much as they used to. And as a matter of fact, the few fighters today that do go to the body and rely on the jab, they being very successful. You know what I'm saying? So, the skills are definitely going down. I think that those fighters, they would probably be just as great as they was. I don't think they'd be no more great or no more less great because it's all about the skills in boxing.
Okay.
And boxing today is easier than it used to be. Like you was talking about earlier, folks going 40, 50 rounds. They don't do that no more. And the most they'll go is 12 rounds today.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So I think they would have been kicking ass.
Okay, let me ask you this question then. What?
Oh, my bad. Marlo didn't get a chance to respond.
Go ahead, Marlo. And after you ask your question, after you say your piece, Marlo, I got a good question for you, brothers. Go right ahead, brother.
No, I just wanted to say that skill is the main part, but you also got to have heart. You know, fighters nowadays is not willing to, you know, test they will, or try to or have that will to even, go better. They all scared to lose. You know, I want this much money, I want that much money, and it's pretty much different than it was then. But in all, like like Trey X said, they probably be the same. They probably legacy would probably remain the same.
But he brought up a good point, man, because the fighters today, they don't have to fight under the circumstances that fighters had to fight under back in the day. Like fighters back in the day, they had more losses and more draws than modern day fighters because they was having to take dives, they was getting robbed, then they had to face racism from the crowd. I heard a story about Joe Gans. He our first black champion of the 20th century, and I heard stories about him actually getting attacked by the crowd while he was in the boxing ring. Like he was fighting in like a small little club or something, and the crowd was close to the ring, and they was actually able to hit him in the shins with objects while he off in there fighting. You know what I'm saying? So it was like a totally different type of not style, but atmosphere for boxing back then, and those guys were a lot tougher mentally than fighters are today, for sure.
Right.
Okay. Let me ask this question. Why do you brothers believe, if you do, what's happening that's causing boxers today to not have the skills that boxers had in yesteryears? What's going on? What do you think is the problem?
Well, yeah, I go first. I mean, it's kind of like when you playing that game back when you used to be in school, and like it'd be like a lot of kids standing in a line, and like one person got a message, so they'll say it in the ear. They'll whisper it in the next person's ear, then they'll whisper the message in the next person's ear, and then it just keeps on going in a chain. And by the time it gets to the last person, the message then changed totally. It's not what the first person said. So like as the skills get passed down from generation to generation, I mean, some of the the intricacies are gonna get lost in a translation. You know what I'm saying? So you just getting further and further away from the source. It's kind of like you got some dope or something and you cutting it. You know what I'm saying? It's not gonna be as potent as it was, So that's really all it is. And plus, at the same time, we done had some very athletic and flashy type fighters. We got social media and stuff like that for all of this stuff to be witnessed easily. So like a lot of the young fighters, they want to imitate that flashy stuff that they seeing instead of relying on the meat and potatoes fundamentals of boxing. That fundamental stuff, it works, but that flashy stuff is what's gonna sell tickets and put them people in the seats. So they getting away from that. I mean, from the the meat and potatoes.
And then it's also skills there to me. It's some few fighters in the last 15, 20 years you could put in an Ali time, or let's go to Sugar Ray time, or in that weight class, or Marvin Hagler in that weight class. But back then it was I was a youngster, but I think it was more fighters, you know what I mean? And a lot of people was around each other, sharpening each other up. Now it's like scattered out.
Let me ask you this other important question, brothers. When I was a kid, you didn't have all these different belts. It was just basic. You had champion, you had heavyweight belt, you had lightweight, middleweight, blah, 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 blah. Now, boxing's become a who's who of alphabet. The WWB this, the LBWY, the WET champion, continental champion. What the hell is that? So my question is, do you think that the saturation of there being too many champion belts waters the sport down a little bit? Because now you've got guys that are champions that in yesteryears would have probably never become a champion. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, you gonna go first this time, bro.
All right. I thought that it was cool if we was facing a undisputed or something like that. If everybody was going for all the belts, you know what I'm saying? The only way is get watered down is everybody content with one belt. I don't want to fight him. You know what I'm saying? That's what make it watered down. If everybody controlled, wanted to be undisputed and go for all the belts, then I think your eye are catching more. If you understand what I'm trying to say, information man.
Yeah.
Like if you was like, oh, this guy the baddest thing around. He got all those belts. You know, you feel where I'm going to?
Yeah.
Then you saying, oh, it's a champion here, it's a champion there, so and so is a champion. You know, it sounds like that, but you know, sometimes that's just how it go when people not looking for what you want to see. Which, you know what I'm saying? I saw a question in there. I'm gonna let bro get to it first, but
okay,
you know, what you want to see and what is out there is two different things. You know what I mean? You gotta, as a boxing fan, you need to tell the people that's what you want to see. You know what I mean? You don't want to see no guy sitting on one belt. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Okay. The way I see it, man, like if you listen to me on our channel, Marlo's Corner, you're gonna hear me say this all the time. I don't even get into the belts and stuff because the stuff doesn't make sense. You got people paying to get their fighters in advantageous positions and stuff like that. I'm more about who you beat. I want to know the names on your resume, and that's like a simplified way for me to view boxing because I get confused when I get into the sanctioning bodies and all the belts and all that kind of stuff. And I hate to say it because that should be like an integral part of boxing. But if you like kind of new to boxing, just pay attention to the fights because that's what history remembers. I mean, people remember the belts, they remember who the champions were, but first and foremost, people remember the great fights. People gonna talk about the Rumble in the Jungle or the Thriller in Manila before they talk about that Muhammad Ali was the only three-time lineal heavyweight champion in history. You know what I'm saying? Most people don't know that, but most people do know about the Thriller in Manila and the Rumble in the Jungle. So just pay attention to the names on the resumes.
All right.
Interesting.
Hey, let me find it.
Go right ahead, brother. If there's any question in the chat room that you brothers would like to answer, go right ahead, brother.
All right.
Very organic tonight.
I want the bro to address this. What do you think? Max Evans was asking, how much does a fight promotion play factor into boxer's success?
You know, that ain't even my area, man, talking about the business side of boxing and stuff like that. But I will say this, the promoters used to play a bigger part than what they should play today because the world done changed. Like the first big promoter was Tex Rickard. He the person that turned boxing into big business. In those days, you needed a promoter. You didn't have social media and all this kind of stuff. Now, in the modern day, you got fighters like Gervonta Davis, and he done made like a very big name for itself just based on social media. Even Floyd Mayweather keeps himself relevant on social media. He's always posting stuff, posting what he's doing, posting where he's going. Same thing with Gervonta Davis. So these days, the promoter is becoming less and less relevant. Even someone like Earl Spence Jr., who is not like a extrovert to where he articulates himself real well, or he got like a flashy personality, but he even got his own promotional company now, Man Down Promotions. You know what I'm saying? He's his own boss. He don't need a promoter. So times done changed, man. The promoter is becoming less and less significant as time go by, except for weak ass fighters like Anthony Johnson, Anthony Joshua. They gotta have somebody like Eddie Hearn to hold his hand the whole time. Okay. But everybody else that's some real men, they taking the promotion under their own control.
Let me give some love.
Let me follow up on that real quick before you go, information man.
Okay, go ahead, brother. Go right ahead. I appreciate it.
Yeah, a promoter is only valuable. I mean, if it's your interest is the best interest. You know what I'm saying? If he trying to gain off you, then he gonna hurt you more than help you. You know what I'm saying? Because he gonna put you in situations where it ain't gonna be the best for the fans. And I also wanted to say this: as a boxing fan, you know what I'm saying? Boxing is dead. MMA is, you know, around. You follow MMA because they, you know, this is the best matchup, and that's what they tell you. You know, in boxing, you know, you guys or us is the ones who need to, you know, is pay their fees. We pay their bills, and we don't show up to a fight, they don't get paid. But you know, when you're not good fights together, ain't nobody really gonna want to see. You know what I'm saying? So they're gonna go elsewhere like the MMA. So that's why I say promoters are they can hurt you and they can help you. It just depends. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. I also want to say, I'll give a shout out to Keeping Portland Real too, sister. What's going on? Thank you for being here. Let me say this right. Keep Portland Real Tube too, sister. Thank you for being here, brother Minister Slow Stroker. Thank you for being here. He says that Tyson fights were over too fast to remember. Then we got Keep Portland Real Tube sister saying, right, Minister. She said that at Tyson at one point in time she was a big fan of Tyson. And also, sister, Keeping Portland Real, send me that T-shirt so I can rep your program and your merchandise, sister. Sister got merchandise, watches. She's got a great YouTube channel. She's got a bunch of YouTube channels. She shows up on her live streams at anywhere. You don't know which one of the channels she's going to be on. And she does giveaways, great music. Sister's very dynamic. We got my man, Brother Rob, in there saying, peace, good brother information, man. Thank you, Brother Rob. Thank you. What was the other question I wanted to ask you, brothers? And this is the thing. I'm like me, I'm a guy, I grew up with the Don King type, you know, with the hair and the, you know, I'll pistol whip you, you know, type of cats, right? And Don King has always gotten a rap for being a person who ruined, people think that he ruined boxing. And Don King has always touted that, look, I made Tyson money, I made Ali money. Now, if they didn't know how to manage their own money, that's on them. That ain't on me. Now, he for long had a reputation as being a brother that was shady, one that cheats you out of money. But the more I would grow up hearing this, I never understood, well, if Don King was really that bad, why did all these boxers always run to him to promote their fights? Maybe one could say that they knew that Don King could bring the money, that Don King could increase their purse. You know, whatever you think about him, I don't think we're ever going to see a promoter like him. And I know him and Bob Aaron didn't get along with each other at one point in time. They did a program on one of these alphabet channels on TV. I won't give them no credit, where they were talking about how they were treating each other back in the day when they were much younger men. But what do you think about, it's a two-part question. What do you think about Don King and his relevance to boxing or not relevant to boxing? And will we ever see a flamboyant promoter like a Don King type?
Well, I'll go first. Don King was definitely a snake. I done heard stories about him charging people $100 for towel rentals and all this kind of stuff. But I will say this, that ain't none of my business as a boxing fan. He put on some of the biggest fights in history. They today they call promoters like Eddie Hearn like another Don King. He wished he was a Don King. Don King put on big fights. So you know what I'm saying? So as a boxing fan, Don King was great for boxing. And I don't think that we're gonna ever see another Don King because it's a different day, different age. You got social media and stuff like that. You got fighters like Floyd Mayweather. See, Floyd Mayweather changed the game. His biggest legacy on boxing, more than his boxing or his record, is the way that he taught boxers how to become their own boss. And then you got people like Al Heyman, instead of just trying to be your promoter and stuff like that, he's trying to be your advisor and show you the game, teach you how to be your own boss. So like people like Don King, like if he was like modern day, he wouldn't be as relevant as he was back in the day. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a different day. Fighters are becoming their own boss. Instead of being a flamboyant promoter, the flamboyant boxer is the one that's winning.
Yeah, as a promoter, he did a hell of a job. On the other side of the business, I don't, you know, he sounded scandalous in what he did, but as a promoter, as far as boxing, yeah, he did a hell of a job, brother. Info.
If you all were professional boxers, and would you take them on to promote your, given the fact that he does bring the money, would you take on a Don King for a short time?
No, sir.
Yeah, I wouldn't do no business with no snake, man.
No Eddie Hearns, no Bob Aarons, and no Spatula Man.
Yep, as a boxing fan, I got respect for him, but if I was a fighter, a professional fighter, I wouldn't want to do business with him.
Right.
Okay, that's very fair, brothers. Now, what the hell? I have to ask this. You brothers get into. You got brothers have more knowledge about boxing than I have. In some levels, I've been a fan of boxing from just the outset. But what in the hell is going on? And I know you've heard this 1,000 times, but I gotta ask this: what in the hell is going on with the heavyweight division? I mean, if you were to ask me right now, if someone was to come up to me right now, brothers, and say, who is the heavyweight champion, information man? Guess what, brothers? As embarrassing as it sounds, I couldn't tell you. I couldn't.
Well, it's two names: Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder. You know, one got one belt and the other guy got the rest. That's what everybody want to see right now. Those two guys lock up to see who the best in the world.
Well, I gotta say this. I apologize to all the people in the chat because we really ain't been responding to y'all questions. But on our channel, like I said, like we stay in the chat all the time. So if y'all want to holler at us, just come through Marlo's Corner, and we would definitely address all your questions. You know what I'm saying? But right now, I gotta bring up Deontay Wilder, like my man Marlo just said.
Okay.
He's our American heavyweight champion. He's from Tuscaloosa, Alabama. He's a great man. I love this guy. Modern day boxers, I got Errol Spence Jr., Deontay Wilder, Clarissa Shields. Fuck, I can't even think of the other name, but he's on that list of fighters that I really care about. To me, he reminds me of a Jack Johnson or a Muhammad Ali. Of course, he ain't got the social significance of those fighters, but he a straight stand-up guy. He got into boxing late to take care of his daughter who was born with spinal bifida. He a straight up stand up dude. He's somebody that you can get behind. I would definitely be in the trenches with him any day. So y'all make sure y'all support our American champion, Deontay the Bronze Bomber Wilder.
Right.
Okay. Look, brothers, this is what I want y'all to do. We're gonna do something different tonight. I want you to bring the Marlo's Corner experience to the info channel. So I want you brothers, I don't care. I want you brothers to read off questions in the chat room, answer them. Go ahead and do it. Bring Marlo's Corner here, brother. I don't mind. I'm going to ask you guys questions periodically. I don't know what your time is like for tonight. I don't want to take up all your time, but go right ahead and answer some of these questions because you brothers know a lot more in this area than I do. Now, I'm not going to, just go right ahead, brother. Bring the quality to the show.
All right, I'll jump up in the chat a little bit. I see my man Max Evans say he like Deontay Wilder. That's what's up. You know what I'm saying? We need to support our great American champion. Brother Rob said his guy was Sweet Pea Pernell Whitaker. I'm right there with you, man. My favorite fighters that I grew up watching was Sweet Pea Whitaker, Floyd Mayweather, Roy Jones Jr., and James Toney, man. And you bet not say nothing bad about James Toney or Sweet Pea, man. We might have to ask you to leave. We got a little tagline and catchphrase on our show. Let them hear it real quick, Marlo.
Oh yeah, we tell all haters and trolls, get the fuck out my gym.
Yeah. Kid Mid, my homie, man. Kid Mid is one of our day one subscribers. You know what I'm saying? He hold us down. We chop it up with him outside of YouTube. He said Deontay Wilder the best in the world, period. I ain't surprised that he said that because he's the president of the Deontay Wilder fan club. You know what I'm saying? Darius Matthews said Mayweather fights a stage. Don't be fooled. It's all entertainment. Mayweather reminds me of Glass Joe playing Nintendo Tyson's Punch-Out. Don't believe that, bro. I had a picture of my avatar of Floyd Mayweather fighting against Conor McGregor in his last fight. And he hit this dude with a right hand so hard he literally knocked snot out of his nose. Shit, you can't stage that. Max Evans said Deontay gets no love from the media. And we all know why. You know what I'm saying? For sure. Brother Rob said he did. Okay, let me scroll down, son. Max Evans, yeah, Bomb Squad for sure. Exposing the fake pro black said the only thing I dislike Floyd Mayweather Jr. he doesn't put money in the black community. Well, I can't really speak on everything that he does because I really do hear a lot of stories about him helping people and stuff from strangers, homeless people, the fighters on his in his stable. I know that we've been talking about that, but he does a lot to help people, man. So I can't just sit up there and say that he don't do nothing. But he do put his coon hat on too, though, and be supporting Donald Trump and all that kind of shit. You know what I'm saying? So I do got my gripes against him too, for sure. Flossie said Mike would have been the greatest till he went to jail. Well, he messed up when he lost Kevin Rooney. And if you want to see the success of Mike Tyson, just pay attention to his weight. If you see him coming in at 217, that's Mike Tyson. If you get up over 220, that ain't Mike Tyson no more. And when he had Kevin Rooney, it was 217. You know what I'm saying? Let me scroll down. Set shot, what's up, bro?
Set shot in the building. What's happening, fam?
What's going down? Redder Rob said no one except for Zab Judah ever hit Floyd Mayweather Jr. Floyd knocked him out the next round. That's not true, brother. Floyd Mayweather has some tough fights early in his career against DeMarcus Chop Chop Corley, caught him with a nice right hand and stunned Floyd. He had a tough fight against Emmanuel Augustus. For the longest time, he would say that Emmanuel Augustus was his toughest fight. Yeah, he did get stunned by Zab Judah a little bit, you know what I'm saying? And since then, he got hit by Marcos Maidana at the end of the third round, and the rematch made him do a stanky leg. He took some tough, hard shots from Shane Mosley. I almost got knocked out in that fight, and he took some hard shots from Miguel Cotto. So he did get hit from time to time, but he has an underrated chin, and he's able to think when he's tired and think when he's hurt. That's one of the things that made him so special as a fighter. You know what I'm saying? Big L said U.S. boxing promoter Don King announces a tour, the Jackson 5 Victory Tour.
Big L in the building. What's happening, fam?
Yeah, what's up, brother?
Marshall Simmons, what's up, bro?
Marshall Simmons building. What's happening, fam?
Talk is box. He said salute to Marlo's corner and the information man.
All right.
He said AJ is a joke, but Deontay Wilder got that smoke. Hashtag LDBC. Chef. What's going down? He said Floyd's one of.
What's up with it, fam?
He says Floyd's one of, or probably the smartest in the ring ever. And one of our people that we normally have on our show is our big bro Curtis Anderson. We affectionately call him Kurt Sugar after the late great boxing historian Burt Sugar. And he feeling under the weather right now, so he couldn't come through. But that's one of his favorite fighters. He's saying Floyd Mayweather beat any fighter from 130 to 140. Don't even ask him about him. He don't even care. He could be Joe Gans. It could be Sweet Pea Whitaker. He don't want to hear nothing. He taking Floyd Mayweather. He think he's the smartest to ever box. And Emmanuel Stewart, the late trainer, a great trainer, he also said that Floyd Mayweather was the smartest fighter that he ever seen. You know what I'm saying? Big L said Don Key did music tours also. Yeah, a lot of promoters and stuff in boxing came from music. Even Al Heyman. Al Heyman was in music and stuff before he got into boxing and had Vernon Forrest as his first boxing client. You know what I'm saying? Brendan Johnson said that 18 million he spent didn't go into the black community. Damn shame.
Brendan Johnson building. What's happening, Sid?
All right. We got King Crew in there too. Brothers, let me ask you a question, a social question.
Yeah.
We're gonna go back into history. Joe Louis. Now remember, Joe Louis did everything in this country to show that he was a good American, right? He joined the military. They told him he didn't have to worry about being on the front lines. He did all the things where he would go to the front. He would go entertain the troops in World War II. He would put on boxing exhibitions. The military benefited from Joe Louis. They used him as sort of propaganda to push this whole, you know, we are United Front American society towards Hitler and all that kind of stuff. So Joe Louis, he paid his dues. He did everything he had to do. I got to be honest. He buck danced a little bit in the military too. He did all these things. But the thing that comes to be the shame, and this happens to a lot of great boxers when they lose their money, and Mike Tyson, I guess, claimed he lost money, and Ali said that he lost money, and of course they all point to Don King. But in the case of Joe Louis, you know, in his last days on this earth, he became a de facto doorman at the Caesar Palace Hotel in Las Vegas. And a little bit of history. See, this is how we as Black folks need to stick together. We need to help each other because Joe Louis should have never died being a doorman, and then he should have never died needing the help of one Frank Sinatra to pay for his casket, to put him in a casket to bury him. And the thing that really bothers me is that the United States government benefited from Joe Louis. And when he was saying, hey, can you forgive my taxes? Because he had a lot of tax problem. And for whatever reason, boxers and other athletes tend to always have these tax issues. But that's, you know, either here or there. But he had tax issues. And the United States government would not, the federal government, the feds, they did not step in and tell the IRS, let's forgive Joe Louis's taxes, given the fact that he's a great American, quote unquote, and he volunteered in the military. He helped out the country. He did everything he was asked to do, you know, be a good Negro and you'll be treated well. You know, they tell us, you know, brush your teeth, get up, say, yes, ma'am, yes, sir, and all that kind of stuff. But the way he passed away was very sad, was very disgraceful. And unfortunately, none of our people really came to his rescue. It took old Blue Eyes, they called himself, Frank Sinatra, to pay for his casket, give him a proper burial. And Joe Louis became sort of a sad figure, opening up doors for people at the Caesar Palace Hotel in Las Vegas. How much of that history are you familiar with? Are you familiar with the story that I just told? If you're not, you know, what are your thoughts, though, overall?
I got a little bit of knowledge about the history of Joe Louis, and I always held it against him because you said he died being a good Negro. Well, he had to be a good Negro to be the champion in the first place, because after Jack Johnson lost his title in 1915 to Jess Willard, it was a long time before we got another heavyweight champion. We didn't get another heavyweight champion until 1937 with Joe Louis, and he had stipulations to be the champion. He couldn't be he couldn't have his picture taken with a white woman by himself. He always had to be humble. He couldn't be seen standing over opponents or gloating or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? So he basically had to be a good, humble house Negro to be a champion in the first place. So I always heard the saying, what goes around comes around. So it just seemed like he came back around on him. Now, I will say I do feel kind of bad for him having to go into the military and stuff like that. Instead of making $400,000 a year, he had to end up making $21 a month. You know what I'm saying? I think that's like $144 a year. So that makes me feel, oh, no, it ain't. That's like $252 a year. But that makes me feel bad for him. I mean, because the whole time he was in there, this tax debt is increasing. He's borrowing money from his manager and stuff. You know what I'm saying? That he got to pay back once he comes back home from the military. But the one thing that did come good from is that he did some good for the black people in the military. You know what I'm saying? They couldn't come watch his fights and stuff like that. He made it to where both the black and the white cadets, or not cadets, whatever. I ain't never been to the military, but the soldiers, they could all come watch him. You know what I'm saying? And if they ever had like a problem or something like that, he was able to hit up Harry S. Truman on the phone, and then he'll hit up whoever's in charge of that division or whatever and get the problem solved. You know what I'm saying? So that's the one good thing that did come out of it, because a lot of people looked at Joe Louis as a coon, but he did like some uncoon type things when he was in the military. And since I learned that information, it kind of made me look at Joe Louis a lot differently than I used to.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I agree with everything that you just said, brother. The cooning behavior. But you know what? You can make an argument, or some can make an argument, that was the time that if, as a black man, if you were going to make it in American society, you sort of had to, you know, yes, sir, boss. That type of shit. And so, see, I'm indifferent about Joe Louis because I think Joe Louis was very critical, if I'm not mistaken, of Muhammad Ali, because Muhammad Ali was more brash. And I think when Muhammad Ali said that he wasn't going to go to Vietnam because no Vietcom, as he said, ever called him a nigga, I think Joe Louis might have continued his coonish ways by being critical of one Muhammad Ali because of his service in the military. Yet when he came back to the country, Joe Louis wasn't treated very well. at least by white America, but by black America, we loved him. What are your thoughts about that? Do you remember, or have you heard or seen clips or old reports? I saw clips where you had Joe Louis sort of criticizing Muhammad Ali for his stance.
Yeah, I heard something about it. It don't really surprise me though. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Joe Louis was pretty much just telling Ali to follow the same blueprint or format that he used to be successful. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not really, I don't think that he really meant anything malicious by it. I think he was just trying to really help out in the way that he knew how. You know what I'm saying?
That's true. You're right. Wow. Wow, brothers.
You notice I don't like to speak on that because I think narratives always change. Like it could have been something that was said with that the media just put out for us to believe certain stuff, man.
You're absolutely right. To call,
I wasn't living with that man. I mean, living with that man time to judge him. You feel me? So I ain't gonna even speak on that, calling him no coon or nothing. But he do some sucker.
I mean, it is what it is. If you got to get up there and say yes, sir, boss, to be successful because of what happened with Jack Johnson.
Right.
That we didn't have a champion from Jack Johnson to Joe Louis.
You're absolutely
and it was because of the way Jack Johnson carried himself.
You know what?
He carried himself and did his own thing. He lived his way. He did it his way. And the white America didn't want to see another champion like that. So you had to have somebody to buck dance and shit in order to be the champion.
That's right. They use Jack Johnson as an example to black people that say, this is what will happen to you when you act like this. Same thing was happening, not to get too far off the subject, when you look at what's happening in the NFL with the whole kneeling and all of that, they will use certain groups of black people as examples to scare the rest of us from behaving that way. You're absolutely right. All the years passed and there was no black champions. And once they finally allowed there to be a black champion, what did happen? They had to conform to a certain way of life and a certain way they carried themselves and act. You said yourself that he could not take any pictures with a white woman by himself unless he was in a gathering with other mixed array of people. So you are absolutely right. They said never again will we allow a Jack Johnson type Negro to rule the day in boxing.
As a matter of fact, Joe Louis's trainer, Jack Blackburn, he didn't even want to train Joe Louis because he didn't feel like a black heavyweight could go anywhere, because ever since Jack Johnson was on top, white America did not want to see another black heavyweight champion. So he didn't think Joe Louis had a shot in hell, even though he was very talented. He had to come around to want to train Joe Louis. You know what I'm saying?
Wow. Yeah, I didn't know that history. See, this is learning, very much so. Learning curve here.
And at different times, it was different times then. So that's another thing. Like it was people around calling him a coon, saying, you know, this ain't right or that ain't right. You know, he had to make his own judgment. I believe that man, you know, probably looking back at it, he probably like, I probably would have did certain things different. You know what I'm saying?
Big L is saying in the chat room that let me see. Big L says, don't call Joe Louis a coon, brother. Damn it. Different times repeat the man's hostile and built on it.
Told you.
No, that ain't no told you nothing. I mean, like he don't like being a coon. If you exhibit in coon behavior, it is what it is. If you up there walking on eggshells for white America, I'm just calling it is what it is. Like, since I done went back and did some research on Joe Louis, like I said at the beginning, I have a lot more respect for him than I used to. But I'm still gonna call a spade when I see it.
You know, I think sometimes because of what black folks went through in those days, some of us are relentless to jump on them and say, well, they had to do what they had to do for the time that they lived in. So you got to put it all in context. Just like when you look at black people who were playing in these sort of Amos and Annie type productions, you know, the bug dancing and the buffoonery behavior, that was the step and fetch it behavior. That was the only opportunities that black people had at that time in Hollywood to be able to act and perform and what have you. Doesn't make it right, But you know, there's an old saying, brothers, you are what you are when you were born. You are what you are. So all of us that are alive, like I'm 48 years old, I'm a Generation Extra, so I am what I am based on my life experiences. You know, you brothers are going to be what you are based on your life experiences and what was going on in the day that you were born in, or the times that are happening to us today will sometimes can shape us, our attitude, and shape who we are going to be or what we can be, or may be negatively or positively. But I just look at these brothers for what they did great in the ring. I don't always agree with their social, their plights, their social attitude when it comes to their own people. However, Joe Louis, a lot of these athletes did a hell of a lot more, I think, in the black community, which was a segregated community, than what you see a lot of the black athletes doing today. That's just my
let me say this real quick. Like when I look at Joe Louis,
yes,
like I don't like everything that he did, but after learning more about him, I feel like he kind of took one for the team. Because if he didn't do what he did, we might not have had that succession of great black heavyweight champions that we've had. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes a motherfucker got to take one for the team, and I kind of feel like that's what he did.
I think history has shown that you've had black people who have had to take one for the team. For example, I'll tell you, for example, and then it goes into what we're talking about tonight. Uncle Tom. A lot of us use the term Uncle Tom, but if you really read the book, Uncle Tom's Cabin, Uncle Tom was not really, quote unquote, the Uncle Tom. He actually played the role. And then you read that book, he got whipped really bad. And I think eventually he was killed because he would not tell the slave masters where the slaves were running to get away for freedom. He kept it secret. They whipped him. And ultimately, Uncle Tom died sacrificing himself for the better, or what they would say back in the day, for the young bloods. Okay. It was really Sambo and Gumbo who sold us out. So a lot of times when we use that term, Uncle Tom, we really should be using the term Sambo and Gumbo, because those were the ones that sold us out. So you could say that someone like Joe Louis did what he could do. Maybe he's figuring that it will be a better path for the younger brothers in boxing, younger brothers just in life in general. I think these boxers, Sugar Ray Robinsons, the Jack Johnsons, whatever we think about them on their socially, they've all paid a heavy price for someone like the great Muhammad Ali to be able to do what he was able to do, and that was to be very brash, to be very boisterous, be the beat to hit the drum to his own beat, be himself, be his authentic self. I think that these brothers paved the way for him, and I know that, if I'm not mistaken, Muhammad Ali really patterned himself after Sugar Ray Robinson with that speed and that quickness. He loved Sugar Ray Robinson. He spoke upon Sugar Ray Robinson with so much respect. What do you guys think? I'm going to fire up a. Go ahead, brother.
I just want to say that back then, it wasn't no show. This ain't wrestling. Like right now, our minds is all think everything's scripted. That man was living. People be living their lives, living through different situations and shit. So, you know what I'm saying? It ain't scripted. It's real life. This ain't wrestling. This ain't none of that old fancy deal. It's I offer you this much money. I need you to do this. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
It just life-changing things. You know what I'm saying? That's gonna make you say, okay, for my family, I guess I'm gonna have to do this. You know what I mean? I guess I'm gonna have to not take pictures. I guess I'm gonna have to not be seen with white women, and you know what I mean? I'm gonna have to be humble to give my family what I feel they deserve. Just different times and people, and the devil, I call it the devil. It just was working its way back then, because cash was everything back in those days. Money was everything. You know what I mean? It wasn't really even no TV. So I just figured, different times. I respect you if that's how you feel about it. I just said that's information, man. That's just how I said. I don't look at it like that because I never know what that man went through. You know what I mean?
I respect your position. That's why I had rephrased my position too, because we did not know what they went through, and that's one of the reasons why I felt like whatever they did, whatever we think it was, it actually paved the way for black folks today, people like Muhammad Ali. Let me real quick play this sound bite so everybody can hear this from Muhammad Ali. talking about his love for Sugar Ray Robinson, or basically talking about Sugar Ray Robinson. So I hope that this will come out where everybody can hear this. And let me hit play and go. Oh, I know what happened. Hang on, brothers. All right, folks, I'm about to get this set up so you can hear this.
All right, while you do that, I'll look in the chat a little bit.
All right, go right ahead. I gotta fix something anyway, brothers. If you want to answer any questions, go right ahead while I get this. I'm gonna fix this. There's something malfunctioning, but go right ahead while I get this fired up properly.
All right, P Money, what's up, bro? Came through to support us and shit.
What's happening, fam?
Yeah, he said AJ is scared of Wilder, point blank, period. He's already been defeated mentally. And in boxing, your mental game is very much important aspect of boxing. Wilder by destruction. Hey, I gotta agree with you, man. I think it's a bad stylistic matchup for Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua is very robotic. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't move his head, especially when he on the outside. His punches like he doesn't have like a lot of punch variety. You know what I'm saying? And like his body isn't right for boxing. He looked more like a defensive end than a boxer. He looked like Julius Peppers or something. And Wilder's style is like unorthodox. He got a very good jab. He got a kinetic chain flexibility to maximize his power. Just the fact that he's unorthodox makes it hard to prepare for him. You know what I'm saying? Like when he gets people hurt, he get a little bit wild. But when you get wild, it's hard to defend against that shit. Like if you know that an opponent is gonna throw a 1, 2, 3, well, you can defend against that, even if you hurt. But if you don't know if he gonna come with a windmill shot or something when you hurt, I mean, that's just another part of the equation. You know what I'm saying? So I like Bruce Lee said, be formless and shapeless like water. So you basically need to do whatever you need to do to win that situation, even if it's throwing a windmill punch. You know what I'm saying? So I think that Wilder is just all wrong for Anthony Joshua, me personally. What you think, bro?
I'm gonna tell you why he wrong. He don't move his head. I know people see, you know, how he throw his jab, how his footwork look, but you got to look at head movement and the shots that he been taking. You know, he don't move his head at all. And the famous shot that Wilder got is always gonna be the shot that's gonna hurt you the most. You know what I'm saying? It's the shot that you've been taking. If you don't make no adjustments, you know what I mean? And like I said, I believe that he gonna get knocked out against Wilder. If you think his skills, you know, is superb or better than Wilder, it ain't all about that. You know what I'm saying? It ain't all around. He ain't got all around skills. He just look good for a buff guy. You look decent for a buff guy. You know what I'm saying? In the heavyweight division, just take one blow and it's over. And this guy, that's what he do the whole fight. If it take 10 rounds, he gonna land that blow he need. If it take 12, he gonna land that blow he need or get them points he need to win. You know, that's just what I feel about Wilder.
All right. Big L say, yo, brother, when Joe Louis fought that Russian guy and whites all cheered for a black man to beat a white man, facts. We all were Americans cheering for Joe. Don't forget that is not facts. Don't be so naive, my brother, to think all white people were united behind Joe Louis. As a matter of fact, Southern whites were not behind Joe Louis when he fought against Max Smelling. You know what I'm saying? The shit, they said, forget that nigger, give me Hitler. You know what I'm saying? That's what they said. Shit, they said, shit, I'd rather go for Hitler than that nigger. So don't be thinking that them Southern whites was united behind Joe Louis, brother. That's square business. Gamma Ray said just radio and newspapers. Yep, no TV.
Gamma Ray
fake pro-blacks. Exposing Fake Pro Black said Ali had 5 losses, 37 knockouts, 57 wins. He's the second best boxer on my list of greatest boxers of all time. So I'm assuming that Sugar Ray Robinson was number 1. Okay. Big L said blacks of the future may call us coons for not fighting against the police in 2018. I don't know. I guess I might could see that. You might have a point, but I don't think that's a fair comparison to Joe Louis. I mean, it really wasn't about what he didn't do. It's about what he did. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's not even the fact that him being a coon. He just came across as submissive. That's the problem that people had. Don't nobody want to see your greatest hero being subservient to the people that you feel like oppress you. That's right. The problem. It ain't even got nothing to do with being no coon.
That's right. Brother, let me go ahead and play this soundbite to someone that talked about Muhammad Ali as it relates to Sugar Ray Robinson. Let me play this quick little soundbite. It's a quick little soundbite by the great Muhammad Ali about Sugar Ray Robinson before you brothers go further. This is great dialogue, brothers. You guys are dynamic. Let me play this.
Shout out King Hebrew. What's happening, fam?
What's up with? I think he said what's up to me too. What's up, bro?
Yeah, I saw Hebrew. Shout out. Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. I can't see the chat. I had to cut my phone off.
You got that asthma pump over there, boy?
Huh?
Yes, you must be on that asthma pump.
Oh yeah.
Just keep on, brothers. I'm having problems with this audio. I don't know why. So just keep up with what you're doing. I don't know why this thing is not letting me bring this.
All right, we jump up in the chat then. We'll cook. Hold on, brother Rob's talking about the Great Depression. Big L say information man asked him about Joe fighting the Russians. I just addressed that. Dark Void, he said these black fighters of the past are my favorites, but number one black fighter to me is my late grandfather. He was a heavyweight Golden Glove champion in the service. Okay, you should tell us what his name is, man. We can give him a little shout out or something. Marshall Simmons said, "Fuck, I agree with that." Because to get to where Ali was, progress had to happen, but it's painful to hear that stuff. I hated what I learned about that on Marlo's. Okay. Main key thing, he learned something on Marlo's. You know what I'm talking about? Right. Exposing Fake Pro Black say George Foreman was also a great boxer. He was a great fighter. I wouldn't say he was a great boxer as far as his technique. Shit, he fought kind of like Frankenstein or a mummy or something, but he was a very good, strong boxer for sure. King Hebrew, what's up?
Hey, bro, did you ever tell him, explain to him what we actually, got going on and trying to keep and create?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah. Definitely all about learning on Marlo's Corner. My man Gregory Wyatt calls us the digital community center on YouTube. Straight family environment. Got love for everybody. Everybody welcome to come through, whether you're a beginner, an intermediate, or an expert with this boxing knowledge. You know what I'm saying? And we talk about all kind of stuff too, y'all. It ain't just boxing. We talk about music. We be talking about movies, anything. You know what I'm saying? Right. Very diverse on the corner for sure. Mimi Dog said it's a whole lot of testosterone in here today. Yeah, we talking about that boxing. That's what it is. Big L said Joe was nobody's coon. He was a hero. He got screwed. Maybe. Okay. Right. I ain't gonna knock your opinion, brother. I ain't gonna go back and forth with you too much. That's your opinion, and I respect it.
Okay, let me.
Big L, go ahead.
Let me see if my soundbite will work now. I had to change something up. I hope this comes through. Oh well, something's clearly wrong with the audio. Go ahead, brothers. Sorry about that. I'm trying to play this soundbite. Basically, in the soundbite, it has Muhammad Ali speaking fondly about Sugar Ray Robinson. He believed, in his opinion, that Sugar Ray Robinson was pound for pound the best fighter that ever lived. Joe Louis also seconded that notion in an interview that he did when he was a much older man. So those two great heavyweights both put their money on Sugar Ray Robinson. And if I'm not mistaken, Muhammad Ali patterned his style somewhat from Sugar Ray Robinson.
Is that right?
Is that true or not, brothers? Is that what you've heard in your studies?
Most definitely. That was Sugar Ray Robinson was Muhammad Ali's favorite fighter. He used to try to fight like him. He would dress like him. He would train like him. he would be saying stuff like, me and Sugar Ray, we too pretty. We can't be beat. You know what I'm saying? That was his man. He loved Sugar Ray Robinson. But when I had looked down at the bottom, I had seen my man Sheldon Holmes, and he wanted me to give a shout out to the Black Murderers Row, who even people like Sugar Ray Robinson avoided. You know what I'm saying? Because they was tough. They was mainly some middleweight black fighters. It was about 9 of them. Charlie Burley, Lloyd Marshall, Holman Williams, Coco Kid, Burt Locktail, just to name a couple of them off the top of my head, but they were some rough, tough fighters. If you go back and watch some of their fights, you just be amazed when you see somebody like Lloyd Marshall, even like Roy Jones before Roy Jones, that you do some amazing things, you know what I'm saying? But Sugar Ray Robinson, definitely a beast. He fought like 203 times, something like that. I know that he was like 174 and 19 and 10, something like that. So he used to fight all the time, man. He went on a vacation in Europe, and on vacation he fought like 4 fights in 29 days. You know what I'm saying? So like he was just always fighting, kicking behind. No one ever beat him twice until he was 40 years old. You know what I'm saying? He started his career off at like, I think, 120 and 1 and 2. You know what I'm saying? Like that type of record probably ain't gonna never be repeated again. So Sugar Ray Robinson was definitely a monster. He was a beast. He got some great wins on his resume, and he deserves all the accolades and respect that he gets.
Well, where would you put someone like Mayweather in the anthos of great boxers? Where does he fit in this equation?
Well, me, I'm kind of humble when it comes to my boxing knowledge. I mean, like I know a little bit about the history, especially since we've been running the type of channel that we have now. But I don't know all the great fighters back in the day. It was a whole bunch of great fighters, so I can't really say where to put Mayweather in like the whole context of boxing history. But for me, he's number one because he's the number one fighter that I watched in my lifetime. I grew up on Mayweather. I was watching Mayweather from when I was in middle school all the way up till I was a grown man. You know what I'm saying? I done seen him come up in different weight classes. I done seen him come up in different eras. He done modified his style to stay on top. He the smartest fighter I ever seen with my own 2 eyes. He got the pedigree. If you look at his family tree, his father was a boxer. His 2 uncles, they was fighters. All of them on the professional level, on the world class level, champions. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, Mayweather the man for me. What you think, Marlo?
Oh, you know, I ain't gonna say he's all-time great, knowing the history that we know now, but yeah, with my eyes, he was the best I saw.
Okay,
especially to display boxing in the ring.
Okay,
you know, all around adversity.
Were either one of you brothers? I don't know your ages or anything like that, brother. But were you blessed to be able to see Sugar Ray Leonard in his prime? Because I grew up and saw him in his prime. I mean, back when you could go see a boxing match for damn near $20 or $15 or something like that. I mean, they had pay-per-view. I remember when pay-per-view was just hitting the scene, the closed circuit TV. Did any of you have a chance to see him up close and personal when he was in his prime? I don't know your ages, so I just want to throw that out there. Just curious.
I saw Mayweather.
No,
Sugar Ray Leonard in his prime.
Oh, okay, my bad.
Talking about Afro Sugar Ray Leonard. Okay.
That's for Marlo.
But yeah, I was a kid, and it was kind of late. I say maybe his last 5 years, maybe more.
I grew up watching him, and I have to say, brother, just like you say, Mayweather is it for you. Whichever one of you made that statement, I have to say that Ray Leonard, he was dynamite, and he was pure magic. And you can make an argument. Now, we probably gonna get into the debate here. You can make an argument that Sugar Ray Leonard fought stronger competition in his time than someone like Mayweather. That's why I have a lot of respect for boxers in the past. I just think that the competition was stiffer. It was stronger. You didn't have all these damn alphabet belts all over the damn place. You knew who were the top fighters, and they had to fight each other. Nobody was ducking nobody. They fought. Everybody fought everybody. You got the Bird Duran that fought. Fought him. He fought every Boom Boom, Ray, Boom Boom Mancino. Remember Boom Boom Mancino? I mean, it was a lot of dynamic boxers back then.
Hey,
Hagler, I love Hagler. Go ahead, brother.
That's my favorite fighter. That's what led me to give Floyd Mayweather his props and follow him.
Okay.
I was gonna say this. That ducking part, I used to think that, my brother.
Okay.
But come to find out, that's not true. You know what I'm saying?
Educate me. Educate the family here.
Well, Aaron Pryor, Ray Leonard supposedly ducked Aaron Pryor. You know what I'm saying? So, like, hearing things now and seeing things on a different level, it was tough for fighters back then. You right. He did what he did. He, you know what I'm saying? He a great man. I'm not taking nothing away from him, but it was people that he didn't want to fight. You know what I'm saying? And he was mentally beat by Hands of Stone. That's why he beat him the second time and made him quit. He could have did that the first time. It was a mental thing. You know what I'm saying? It was just tough things going, tougher competition back then. In my opinion, what you think, bro?
Well, Kurt Sugar said that Sugar Ray Leonard didn't duck no Aaron Pryor. But at the end of the day, like my man, like Information Man said, he said that he felt like Sugar Ray Leonard fought the tougher competition. And when I look at Mayweather don't have no Roberto Duran. He don't have no Marvin Hagler. Nope. He don't have no Hitman Hearn. No motherfuckers ain't on his resume. I gotta give Sugar Ray Leonard the edge in that. He fighting Hall of Fame fighters. You know what I'm saying? He ain't just fighting whatever popular Mexican or Hispanic fighter there is on Cinco de Mayo or on Mexican Independence Day in September. That ain't what he was doing. He was fighting against the toughest all fighters, black fighters, Hispanic fighters, whatever. You know what I'm saying? So as far as the strength of schedule, I got to give a slight edge to Ray Leonard.
I give him that, but I was just saying, as far as the ducking part, you know what I mean? That's I didn't think that was true when I found out what I read, but hell yeah, it was Hall of Famers on his record. He ain't got Mayweather don't got more Hall of Famers on his record than he do, so you got to give him that.
I mean, he got some. Don't get me wrong. You look at Miguel Cotto, you look at Oscar De La Hoya, Manny Pacquiao. Right. He got a deep resume. Don't get me wrong. Both of them are great fighters, and both of them fought against great fighters. But I would have to give a slight edge to Sugar Ray Leonard. Yep. Information Man, where you go, boy?
I'm here, brother. I'm just listening to what you guys are saying. I'm making sure I'm pushing things to social media. I'm letting you brothers just take the show where it's going because it's tonight. It's Friday night. I'm feeling good. I'm listening. You got to remember, brother, I'm learning. I might be a little older than both of you or one of you, but I'm still learning, brother, because you guys do this every night, brother. You endeavor into breaking down boxing. I'm sorry, boxing. And so
we talk a little basketball too now. We talk basketball, football, whatever they want to talk about. We're going to chop it up.
Well, let me ask you something about something a little bit here. If you had to, let's look at all top boxers. Let's look at Mike Tyson. Not Mike Tyson before everything went disastrous with Mike Tyson. But where do you place him at? Because some would say that Mike Tyson was the best that ever did it. I mean, with his knockout ability. He fell short in some areas, character, behavior outside of the arena, outside the ring, excuse me. But if you had to win a fight, for your life, which boxer would you pick? So you got your choice of Muhammad Ali. Let's go with Muhammad Ali. Let's go with Joe Louis, Jack Johnson, Sugar Ray Robinson, Larry Holmes, all the great boxers in history. If your life depends on it, brothers, your dream team.
Hey, bro, I got something for you, Information Man.
Go right ahead.
By you speaking on that, stay on that on your subject. But hey, bro, Lacing with Black Murderers Row. Information.
Yeah, I told him about it. I already did.
Oh, I missed. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just wanted to make sure you got a little bit of that information.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I told him about a little bit when I was talking about the about Sugar Ray Robinson. I don't know. Are you familiar with the Black Murderers Row information, man?
But I'm not. What I want you brothers to do is educate me, educate the public tonight. Break it down. Take it off. But brothers, go ahead.
Okay, I'm gonna answer your question first. You said, what fighter would I get to fight for my life? Shit, I'm getting Mayweather. You know what I'm saying? I'm getting the man himself. Yeah, you ain't never seen him beat, have you? And I know that he gonna go in there and fight to win, man. He gonna go in there with a game plan, custom game plan just for that opponent. He able to make adjustments. He's super smart. I'm going with Pretty Boy Floyd Sinclair Mayweather Jr. Who you going with, Marlo?
Ooh.
I think I'm gonna take Ali with me.
Boombaye?
I'm gonna take Boombaye, man. He gonna make me laugh and he gonna kick some ass with me. He gonna ride. Yeah, I'm gonna take the heavyweight. Since you took Mayweather, I'm gonna take Ali.
Okay.
Let me remind people with someone that you're all familiar with. Make sure you subscribe.
Hey, look, it's a coincidence, huh? Look in the thumbnail, bro.
Yeah, I'm gonna put a lovely thumbnail up for this.
Hey, he picked Mayweather. I pick Ali. That's who in my thumbnail. Mayweather.
Oh yeah.
All right, now, brothers, I have to go with Ali for this simple reason. He's the only fighter in history, if I'm not mistaken, to win his title back not once, not twice. Didn't he win it back about 3 times?
He is the only 3-time lineal heavyweight champion in history.
Thank you. Woo! Yes, give ourselves claps.
Oh, you riding with Ali too? Information, man.
Yes, brother.
He gonna take a heavyweight too, bro. Hey,
I had to go with a heavyweight because I grew up with him, and on top of this, like I said, I picked him because he's the only boxer in history to have bona fide comeback ability. He's the only boxer to lose his title several times, to come back to regain it, and he went against the greatest odds when he was in Zaire in 1972. I think it was Zaire when he fought. Is it 72 or 74? He fought Foreman, and at that time they said Foreman was so threatening, so intimidating. They said that when he would hit the heavy bag, that his trainer would just jump up in the air off the heavy bag. That Foreman was just a brute strength, and they told Ali, you know the story, that he could never win. What are you doing, Ali? He went over there to Africa. They put that African spirituality on him, sprinkled him with that sprinkle me. Okay, and then what happened to Foreman? He got bamboozled by the, as they called it, the shaman witch doctors. They put that they put the hocus and the pocus on his ass because
that
he
Boombaye. Yeah. They put that Boombaye on him.
Ali, Boombaye, Ali, Boombaye. And then you check this out. And this is another thing that Foreman did that was wrong. And I know the brother's been selling those grills and stuff, and I got one, okay? But he made a big mistake going over there with a German Shepherd dog. The black people in Zaire took that as an offense to them because it was the Belgians. Giving you a little bit of history here, folks. It was the Belgians that went into that part of the world, you know, colonialism, mistreated the people, and they used German Shepherd dogs, just like they used German Shepherds on black folks in the South and throughout the country in the urban areas when they were putting their supremacy or their racism upon us. But it was the dog, the German Shepherd, that was used on the people. So when Foreman went over there, they never respected him for that. He didn't even feel comfortable in Africa. They said he was having all types of problems while Ali was flourishing. And they said that one of the shamans came to him and put a spell on him and said, "You're going to win the match." So Ali came into that match with not only physical belief that he could win, but he had the African spirituality to get him through. And Foreman admitted in some interviews today that he went against a superior man and that it was not meant, that he knew that he was going up against a force of history, a force of nature. I just wanted to leave folks, drop that dime on folks tonight.
Right. Yes, sir.
That's right.
Yeah.
You
The
know,
real Aaron Collins said that we be watching black skateboarders. Hell no. I didn't even know black people skateboarded, bro.
Yeah, there are some out there.
no, I knew a two, I believe. Two of them. They was real good professionals.
This man said two. We got goddamn me 400 million people in the United States, and this man said he know two.
So, brothers, it's time.
Not personally though. Not personally. I'm talking about through the media.
I know. I'm just fucking with you, bro.
Okay, I thought you thought I meant personally.
Now, brothers, it's time for y'all to give the people the real deal. When you talk about the murderous, break it down for us tonight. I'm all ears. I want to learn. Wait a minute, folks. Let's come back. Let's come to school now. School time. Educate us about the murderous row. The murderous row. Come on, brothers.
Well, basically, the Black Murderers Row were a group of 9 African-American fighters that fought between middleweight and light heavyweight in the 1950s. They were the most avoided fighters maybe in the history of boxing. You had great champions like Rocky Graziano, Tony Zell. They wouldn't even want to fight these guys. You know what I'm saying? And so since people didn't want to fight them, they had to fight each other between 62 and 64 times. They had like a miniature tournament with just each other because they couldn't get any fights. And they were great fighters. If you go look up some Charlie Burley, Lloyd Marshall, Aaron Little Tiger Wade, these guys were great fighters. And as a matter of fact, Aaron Little Tiger Wade, he was the first black fighter to ever win the Golden Gloves in 1932. You know what I'm saying? He had over 600 amateur fights. Great fighter. They were all just some tough outs for anybody. Great fighters of their time, stayed away from it, and that's why you got to give respect to somebody like Archie Moore, because Archie Moore fought them more than any other great fighter. I think he had like over 14 fights with them. You know what I'm saying? But they were a tough group of guys, a lost part of boxing history, and they definitely deserve their shine.
Wow. Why do you think, brothers, that they have not gotten the shine that they deserve? What has gone wrong in history that they have not gotten their shine?
Well, history tends to remember the great fights, and it remembers the champions. These guys never got a chance to fight for the championship. That's why they part of the Black Murderers Row. Because if it like somebody like Archie Moore could have been part of the Black Murderers Row, but he ended up getting a chance to fight for the championship against Joey Maxim.
Yes.
So these guys were robbed of those big fights. They was robbed of championship opportunities. So that's why history doesn't remember them as favorably as some of the people that actually avoided them.
Wow. Do you think? Let me ask you these questions, brothers. Do we have a Black Murderous Row today? Are there some black fighters out there that are below the radar that many of us have not heard of, that are either coming up the ranks that may be promising in the future, or just are sort of left in the dungeon? But what are your thoughts on that? Do we have that concept today? Are they out there today?
Well, we just had like a guy named Guillermo Rigondeaux, who is really naturally like a 118-pound fighter, basically have to go up and fight a guy at 130 because all the people in his divisions moved to up in weight to avoid him. And then there's another great fighter named Earl Spence Jr. He's having trouble getting the biggest fights in his division. It's Deontay Wilder, the guy that I told you about earlier. Yes. He can't get the biggest fights in his division. Fighters talking about literally freezing him out so he can't get the biggest fights. So yeah, that Black Murderers Row concept is still alive and well today, for sure.
Wow. Now, let me ask you this. Brothers. Let me see what's going on in the chat right now. Okay. Let me ask you this. What is it? This is my theory. Hear me out. This is my theory, brother. This is my theory to why I think there's not a lot of great heavyweights in boxing right now, in terms of definitely black heavyweights. One of the things I think is happening is that there was a time in this country when boxing, and tell me if I'm right or wrong, there was a time in this country when boxing was king. It was king over baseball. Believe it or not, it was king over basketball, football, Of course, baseball has always been quote unquote the pastime, but boxing was number one. The heavyweight title was like coveted as the title. And there was a time in this country when there were a lot of brothers coming up the ring, such as what we talked about, your Ken Nortons, your Joe Fraziers, your Foremans, these kind of brothers that were big, strong type of brothers. My theory as to why, because you know, boxing was always a sport which could bring one, as they would say back in the day, it could transform one from the ghettos. You could come from the ghettos of the streets. You could be someone who did time in jail. It doesn't matter whether you did time in jail, whatever your baggage is. Boxing is a sport that was open to pimps, hustlers, which is why you look at someone like Don King, who went to jail for manslaughter. He was a hustler. It's one of the only sports like rap music where you can come from a hustling background and you can become successful in the boxing game, or the music game, or whatever the game it is that you choose. But what I noticed is that a lot of young men would grow up and they would want to use boxing as their avenue out. But it seems like as modern sports has become more and more popular, basketball, football, more black kids are going into playing football, basketball, AA teams, traveling teams. A lot of our kids now are focusing on getting scholarships to go to college because they want to get to the NBA, because those are the athletes today that are most prominently put out there for folks. My theory is that one of the reasons why you may not have as many great heavyweights, because a lot of these brothers that would have gone into boxing are now playing in the NFL or playing college football. They're brothers that are playing linebacker, defensive end. I'm talking about heavyweight now. I'm talking about heavyweights now. I think that a lot of these brothers who would have had the talent for it, they put their talents in football or other types of sports that require you to have a certain size and strength. And so I think that that pool of kids that have geared themselves away from what you would consider the slummy sport, the sport of the slummy, you know, I'm using it as not, you know, literally, but that's the sort of stereotypes that you will hear out there. But all of our athletic talent, big men, are going into football and other types of sports. Now, I've said a mouthful there. Do you think there's any validity, brothers, to what I've just said in terms of what's impacting the heavyweight division in terms of a pool of talent? How much of it has to do with the other sports taking the talent away based on kids' interest today? What do you think?
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I think even more so than football, I think probably basketball, because football, I don't think that's the right type of body for boxing. I think a basketball player has more of a streamlined type of body that a fighter would have.
Okay.
But those types of sports, I mean, like basketball, are probably considered safer than boxing. I mean, boxing is a sport where you literally take hundreds of punches to your head in a fight. You know what I'm saying? So that probably doesn't that's probably not as glamorable or whatever, glamorous to modern day kids and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, times was harder back then. I mean, people was using boxing as a means to escape the situation they was in, like you said. I mean, it's just a different time now. I mean, you have boxing gyms on like a lot more gyms back then. Like today, like you kind of got to go out your way to find a boxing gym. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, people just don't look at the sport the way they used to. And you got other sports like basketball and football that's soaking up the talent. So I definitely agree with you.
Okay. Let me ask you something, because I'm going to play a sound bite that's going to definitely tickle everybody's fancy. What impact, if any, did the Rocky Balboa, because I'm gonna tell you guys something that really pisses me off. What impact did the Rocky Balboa movies have on you? Because you know, in Philadelphia they had that statue of Rocky. You know, they have the little statue, and what really bothers me about that is the fact that Joe Frazier, if I'm not mistaken, is from the streets of Philadelphia. He was a champion. And I don't think there's anywhere in Philadelphia, unless you brothers have been there or you know something that I don't know, but I don't think there's anything in Philadelphia that honors or puts Joe Frazier in the proper place in history for being a champion, one of the first champions in that town in modern time. There's no statue of him, but yet you have a fictional statue of a guy called Rocky Balboa who never existed, only in the movies. And we have a man who was a great champion for the time that he had the belt, Smoking Joe Frazier. Of course, he wasn't that great with the press. He sort of was seen as the angry black man. You know how that goes, brothers. But what are your thoughts about Joe Frazier? And what are your thoughts about the fact that it's a damn shame that in Philadelphia, there's no statue or nothing that honors one great Joe Frazier who died some years ago? Brothers, give it to me real. Don't hold back. Give me your opinion, whether good or bad. Give it to us.
You can go first, Marlo.
Smoking Joe Frazier. Great boxer. Great boxer. I really don't know much about him outside the ring. What I read about him, he gave back to his community. But, well, like I said, great boxer, in my opinion.
Well, I think it's a damn shame that he don't have no statue or nothing out there commemorating his greatness, and you got one for somebody like Rocky Balboa. But I think some of the things go against Joe Frazier. I can't even think of the name of the guy that he beat to win the championship, but a lot of people felt like that wasn't his championship. They felt like Ali was the rightful champion, and he ended up losing 2 out of 3 times to Ali. He got demolished by George Foreman. You know what I'm saying? George Foreman had that motherfucker down there break out running off in the ring. You know what I'm saying? So I think some of that kind of go against him. But I definitely agree with you, though, that if you got a statue of Rocky Balboa, you definitely got to have a statue of Smoking Joe Frazier up in there somewhere.
But would you agree with me or disagree with me that Joe Frazier was sort of he never was really beloved by America as a heavyweight as many others were? I mean, of course, we know that there were some that loved Ali, and there were mainly black people, and we know that a lot of white folks hated him when he was young, brash, and told them where to put it. And then, of course, we see as he got older in years and had his troubles with, autism, Alzheimer's. Then all of a sudden, white folks start coming out saying how much they love Ali, which I thought was a crack of garbage, because when the man was living, they didn't like him because he took a stance and he told white people where to put it. But Joe Frazier, to me, didn't do a lot of talking, so he wasn't like the best when it came to interviews. He always had this, and people saw him as the angry black man. He, in some ways, people would say, well, I think in some ways he was very he didn't really like Ali, because Ali made a lot of disparaging statements about calling him a gorilla, and in some of the documentaries that I've studied, he did not like the fact that Ali would use those kind of terms. And tell me if I'm wrong or right, brother. When Ali was starting to have some problems, because they were trying to take his boxing license away, saying he can't box here, he can't box there. Wasn't it Frazier who opened up his hands to Ali in the beginning and saying, I'm gonna give this brother a shot, when there was a lot of heat on Ali? Are you brothers aware of that history?
Yes, sir. Joe Frazier definitely lent Muhammad Ali a helping hand when he returned back from his exile, I guess you can call it, from boxing. And one of the things that I held against Muhammad Ali is when he was calling Joe Frazier a big, black, ugly gorilla and all that kind of stuff. I respect Ali. He was a great man, very important for the black community, black culture, black history. But I think that was a black eye on the legacy of Muhammad Ali.
Okay.
That's crazy.
It is crazy.
I tried to post a link to the to our channels for people to subscribe. It wouldn't let me, but
what
I
I need to
appreciate
do,
if everybody subscribe though.
this is what I'm gonna do. I'm going to post a link in there because I got your channel up. But what I'll do is I'll mod you up. So I need brother Marlo. I got you modded up. Trey, I need you to write a message in there right now so I can mod you up, and then you can drop whatever you need to drop in there. I'm gonna drop another, and also I put the link to your channel in the description of this video as well. So
okay,
go ahead and
drop
it again. I want you to drop it. Okay, I see you now, Trey. I'm gonna mod you up, brother, and then you can drop whatever you need to drop in there. That's you know, related to tonight.
Yeah, I would appreciate everybody to subscribe, man. We work very, very, very hard on our channel because to have the type of channel that we have, we got to do a lot of research and get the information before we go on. Like we might have like a 2 or 3 hour live stream, but we got to spend 3 hours getting the information before we go on.
Yeah, I want
everybody trying to reach that 1,000 subscribers.
Yeah, before you came on tonight, brother, I was and Marlo will tell you, I was definitely telling folks that I expect there to be some increase in your viewership and in your subscribership. And I'm telling everybody in the chat room, subscribe to these brothers, support them. We talk a lot about supporting Black people. These brothers are positive. They have a great channel. You're going to have a lot of fun on their channel, but they kid around, but they got great commentary. They're going to make you laugh. You're going to enjoy yourself. And I think sometimes as Black people, we talk a lot about things that are stressful, that are affecting us, and we need to be aware of what's going on. But we also need to be able to laugh sometimes because I work in mental health. Laughter is very important. We need to be able to enjoy ourselves sometimes with our people, have a laugh, enjoy, and at the same time learn something, because boxing to me is also a part of Black history. All the individuals that we named tonight, they contribute to our Black history. I mean, whether you're a big fan of Ali, Ali is Black history based on the stance that he took. Whether you like Jack Johnson or not, Jack Johnson's Black history. Joe Louis is Black history. Sugar Ray Robinson's Black history. Let me tell you something about Sugar Ray Robinson. Do you know that Sugar Ray Robinson, when he was in Harlem, he was a businessman. He wasn't just some dumb boxer. Okay, not to say that boxers are dumb, but Sugar Ray Robinson, from what I understand in my studies, he was a businessman. He owned many of the blocks in Harlem. He owned barbershops, all pool halls. The brother owned businesses. He was very smart with his contracts, and his business sense was savvy. Okay, he was giving back to the community. He was hiring people. So Sugar Ray Robinson, he's a part of Black history as it relates to Black history in general, and as it relates to the history of Harlem. That brother owned things. He was an entrepreneur, not just a boxer only. He took the money that he earned in boxing to spring himself into an entrepreneur. Let me also say, even Joe Frazier, whatever you think about Joe Frazier was a brother that was about his community in Philadelphia. Now, you look at Larry Holmes. I never was a big fan of Larry Holmes. You know, Larry Holmes, he had that gap in his teeth, and he would talk with that cyst in his mouth. I'm Larry Holmes, and I love eating chunky soup. You know, it's a good soup. It's a strong soup. I'm Larry Holmes, goddammit. Okay, but Larry Holmes was also a businessman. He invested in his community. I'm joking around with the little parody, but he using a Eddie Murphy parody about chunky soup, but he was a brother that contributed to his community, uplift and what have you. Foreman, I've had my problems with Foreman. I told you the story about him when he went to Africa, but Foreman, Foreman was about some stuff too, but also he's been cooning as of late a little bit with his stance with one Donald Trump. And of course, he's made the grills. Now, he don't own the grills. They simply use him as a pitch man to sell the grills. And he's made quite a bit of money. And Foreman is a brother who reinvented himself, because they said when he was younger as a boxer, just like Frazier, he was seen as the angry Black man as well. And he sort of reinvented his image and softened himself up for whatever the reasons, because of course he had a gig on HBO boxing, so he had to soften his image up. But brothers, what are your thoughts about that? What I just put out there about these men are part of Black history. They were not just boxers, but they did important things of inspiration out of the boxing ring. What are your thoughts about that? Why I find this soundbite?
Yeah, I was touching on that earlier. I definitely feel like it's a close relationship between black history and black boxing history because some of our earlier successful people that we could look up to came from boxing, whether it was Bill Richmond and Tom Molyneux. You could look at somebody like Sugar Ray Robinson, like you were just talking about. He was like literally our first black boxer that was a great entrepreneur. You know what I'm saying? So he was in effect like one of our great entertainers to become an entrepreneur. You know what I'm saying? So like a lot of barriers get broken down with boxers and stuff. Black boxers like Joe Louis, like we was talking about earlier. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely feel like it's a close relationship between black history and black boxing history for sure.
All right, I agree with you too, Info. Hey, Info, you mind about explaining to them how the trivia and stuff go?
Yeah, go right ahead because they didn't know the format of your show. Go right ahead, brother.
All right. Well, the trivia we go from back in the days, history, all the way to the modern day to right now, and we just go pick out questions. You know, if you don't know, participate, and, you know, guess you're gonna learn. You know, just listening and come to participate. But you know, at the end of most weeks, we just now starting to do the trivia. We break it down in free fall, and then we'll break it down in the team tournaments. And go ahead and explain to them, bro, about the team tournament.
Yeah, we just had a team tournament last night. It was the first of that kind. This was our second tournament. The first tournament we had people going one on one, but this tournament we did yesterday, we took the whole group and just split it down into two teams, and whichever team answered the most questions won. You know what I'm saying? And the whichever contestant on the winning team answered the most questions, they won a little $50 gift certificate from us. Dinner for two on Marlo's corner. You know what I'm saying? So we do stuff like that. We do giveaways and stuff because we appreciate the subscribers. You know what I'm saying? And when we do stuff like that, it's not really like propaganda. Well, not propaganda, but like a gimmick or something trying to get new subscribers. It's really just to show love to the subscribers that we already have. So we like to do stuff like that a lot. You know what I'm saying? And we always stay in the chat too, y'all. Like we're a guest on somebody else's channel, so we kind of like in a panel format. But on our channel, it's more like freestyle, and we stay in a chat. We like talking crap, talking shit. We like to clown, laugh. You know what I'm saying? It's really like an interactive type of environment for real. We stay in the chat, and that's something that we proud of. And a lot of people give us compliments on our chat interactive skills. You know what I'm saying? So if that's the kind of stuff you like, man, you'll definitely have fun on our channel for sure.
All right.
That's what's up. Pretty good stuff.
And y'all y'all don't mind my man Kid Mid down there. I don't know what's going on down there, but Kid Mid is down for us like 4 flat tires. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about he all in like a kid on a school night. So if you say something bad about us, man, he definitely gonna go in. But that's our man though. We got nothing but love to Kid Mid. And if you like kung fu movies and you like gangster movies and stuff like that, subscribe to my man Kid Mid. He got a fly little collection on his channel.
I appreciate you dropping the knowledge tonight, man.
Fly C.
Anytime. We hope you have us back another day sometime, brother.
I will, brothers.
Fly C said we forgot Floyd Patterson.
Oh, yeah. Give me your before we come to a crescendo tonight, brothers, give me your analysis, your breakdown, your views, your understanding of Floyd Patterson.
Well, I don't know a whole lot about Floyd Patterson, but I do know he's the first heavyweight champion to ever lose his championship and then regain it. He was knocked down 7 times by Ingemar Johansson, and then he had a rematch and he hit him with what was called a kangaroo punch, one of the hardest punches to ever land on a fighter in the history of boxing. He hit Ingemar Johansson with like a Mike Tyson type lead left hook. Hit him so hard he had him on the ground with his leg quivering. You know what I'm saying? He was a good fighter. He got his ass whooped messing around with Muhammad Ali. Refused to call him Muhammad Ali. Kept calling him Cassius Clay. And plus he said something to the press about the Nation of Islam. So Muhammad Ali put a real nice ass whooping on him. But he was a good champion though. You know what I'm saying? Couldn't get with some of the better fighters though, like a Sonny Liston or a Muhammad Ali though. Hold on, what is Big L? He said, where is Trey? What you talking about, bro?
Okay, we got
oh.
let me name it. We got Brenda Johnson in there, Big L. Everybody's in there tonight, brothers. Let me play y'all some throwback to some stuff that you may remember hearing. So let me fire this up. This should work. Make sure this is there it is. Okay. You all should remember this.
I see you down there exposing fake pro-blacks. He said Tommy Hitman Hearns was a great boxer as well. We leave no stone unturned on the corner, man. We give all the great fighters their time in the sun, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Now, do y'all remember this scene from Rocky?
You gonna hear those famous words, Big L?
The doctor's report's confirmed. Definitely. Says here Mackley Green has suffered a severely cracked third metacarpal in his left hand. Of course, we can cancel the fight indefinitely if you're set on fighting Green. Hey, it ain't just Green. What about all the time Apollo is invested? I believe we can find a solution. Solution nothing. Now, you better find me another rank contender, and I mean in the flash triggers. Don't play games with my client. Apollo's already done $1 million worth of publicity and made contractual obligations with 20 different organizations. He's not going to be embarrassed. I contacted Ernie Roman's manager. Ernie is fighting in France that same week. Then get me Buddy Shaw. Hell, he's ranked 5th. Went to California and gained 50 pounds. I got hold of every worthwhile contender, and they all say the same thing. 5 weeks just isn't enough time to get it in shape. Oh, shape nothing, man. They're afraid. Hell, they know everybody in the world's going to see this fight, and none of them got a prayer whipping me. So they're making excuses so they don't have to be the chump to get whipped in front of the whole civilized world. All I can say is I'm a good promoter. I've promoted fights in every goddamn country in the world, and I've broken my ass over this. But I don't know what the hell else to do. I did.
Okay.
Without a ranked contender, what this fight is going to need is a novelty. This is the land of opportunity, right? So Apollo Creed on January 1st gives a local underdog fighter an opportunity. A Snow White underdog, and I'm going to put his face on this poster with me. And I'll tell you why. Because I'm sentimental. And a lot of other people in this country are just as sentimental, and there's nothing they'd like better than to see Apollo Creed give a local Philadelphia boy a shot at the greatest title in the world on this country's biggest birthday. Now, that's the way I see it. And that's the way it's going to be. Apollo, I like it. It's very American.
All right, information, man. Let me get up in the chat a little bit, man.
All right, I'm going to stop that. Go right ahead and get up in the chat, brother. I just wanted to play that.
All right, Big L. He said, I'm coming to the channel to turn over tables. I see you one of them aggressive people that like to talk a lot of noise. But look here, man, on Marlo's Corner, we definitely ain't no beta males over there, so you welcome to come through anytime you want. And I guarantee we got some hitters on the corner that are seeing you running with your tail tucked between your legs. We humble people on Marlo's Corner. That's square business. We got some people off in there for you, so go ahead and come through whenever you get ready. We waiting on you.
I hear
That's
you, bro.
square business.
That's right.
Hold on, where I'm at. Big L say anyone meeting with Trump is not a friend of his, a friend of mine either. Pretty Black, appreciate that support that you've been giving us down there, telling people to subscribe to the channel for sure.
Hey, subscribe.
All those corners said a bunch more. Yeah, we got killers over there. We got Chef, we got Perfection, Timmy Diamonds. Man, there's some people over there that know that boxing knowledge. I can't even hold a candle to them. You know what I'm saying? Right. Square business.
That's right.
Yeah, me say, Big L, you'll get your ass power bomb through a table, fucking around on the corner. Yeah. Yeah, that's how you gonna turn the table over on the corner. Come on through, we waiting on you. We be having fun on the corner, you know what I'm saying? But hey, you know what I'm saying? We ain't gonna back down either, though. We ain't never scared. Well, we like having fun, though. Like I said, it's all about the family involvement. We all be trying to collectively raise our boxing IQ together. You know what I'm saying? It really ain't about no competition or nothing like that. But if you bring the competition, we can put you in a competition. That's what we do on the corner.
That's right. That's right, brothers. Brothers, as we wind down here, I would like you brothers, once again, everybody, I'm going to say it again. Subscribe to Marlo's Corner. Support these brothers. They're down to earth brothers. They're real. What's going on, P Money? I see you in there, P Money. I see you in there, Kid Mid. I see you. Everybody that's in the chat room that's here supporting Marlo's Corner, I want to thank you for coming over. Make sure you also subscribe to Information Man's show. Subscribe, hit the bell for notification, share this video. Now, this is why you need to share this in your social media. It not only benefits me, but it will benefit Marlo's Corner, because they have pretty much put the Marlo's Corner spirit on this show tonight, which is what I wanted. And by putting this in your social media, it's going to bring attention to Marlo's Corner so that people can say, let's go check these brothers out. That's why this is very important. So push it through the social media. We should all be doing that for each other so that this video really will pop off. I'm going to already do what I'm going to do to this video to make it pop off as well. But brothers, what I want to say to you brothers is that I really appreciate having you on tonight. I want to thank you for giving me your time. I know, it's a Friday night. You could be doing anything. You could be doing Marlo's Corner right now. But we got to do this again. Anytime you brothers want to come on and talk about other issues that are on your mind, beyond just boxing, whatever's on your mind, brothers, when you see how I have panels on here all the time, brothers. If you want to come on a panel to discuss issues, let me know. We'll get you on the panel. We'll do whatever we can, brothers, to get your thoughts on these various issues that we deal with. So what I want to do, Brother Trey, I want you to give your last remarks for tonight.
Oh, I appreciate you for having us tonight, man. I appreciate all the people that have been hanging out with us all this time, giving us this time. Time is more precious than anything because you can never get that back. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing but love, even to my man Big L down there talking his little trash and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Nothing but love and respect for everybody. And we invite everybody to subscribe, come through the channel, come kick it with us on the live streams. We're going to have a lot of fun. You know what I'm saying? We call fights. We talk boxing. We talk all kinds of sports. Anything that you want to do. One of our important family members, Kurt Sugar, wasn't here today, but he also a nice treat that we have on the show. You know what I'm saying? He's a little bit older than us, but he know a ton about boxing. He know a ton about music, a ton about life. He a very positive person. We all try to be positive, you know what I'm saying, straight optimistic. And we just hope that y'all come through and subscribe and come through and holler at us, man. We have some fun.
That's what's up. I hear you. Let me stop that right there. Brother Marlo's Corner. Yes.
Hey, I just want to appreciate you, man, for having us on, reaching out to the people, man, try to help us grow our channel. And I hope everybody enjoyed. I appreciate everybody that did subscribe. But if you didn't, I hope you enjoyed the time that we spent with y'all too. Peace.
I know that I certainly enjoyed this time. That's why I definitely got to have you back on. Any other subject matters, definitely got to pick you brother's brain. I have to say that I hope that the heavyweight match between those brothers, I hope that it happens. I hope they can get it off the ground and stop messing around. Give the public what they want to see. You hear what I'm saying?
Right.
Oh, let me address what Big L said. He said, what day are we on? We on every day, any day besides Wednesday. So we ain't got like a set schedule. You know what I'm saying? But any day besides Wednesday, you're going to pretty much see us on. And it might be some Wednesdays too, but just subscribe and hit that bell icon and come holler at us.
Okay. And something else I want to ask you brothers too. If you got any social media, drop that in there so people can follow you, your Twitter. If you got the program on I know I have a Facebook page that's linked to my show, specifically for the show. That's separate from my personal page. Do you guys have a Facebook page that's a part of the show? What other areas are you in?
Well, we got a Facebook page, we got a website, we also got t-shirts too, info. But
I got to give me one of those t-shirts so I can rock it when I do my videos. I want to promote you guys. So this is what we need to really start getting into, and this is what I see other people doing that are not of our complexion, and it's part of why they have had some success. I think that we do need to start doing cross promotions for each other's programs. Meaning, for example, if you got a Marlo's Corner shirt, I want to rock that when I do like pre-produced videos. So I can have that shirt on so I can say in my videos and whatever I do, hey, go over and check out Marlo's Corner. Or when I'm out and about in my community, if I'm, walking around and people say, hey, what's that, man? Marlo's Corner. And I can tell people this is Marlo's Corner boxing program. This is about, so we got to self-promote each other. We got to do cross promotions. All these things are important to growing a channel. That's why when this is all over and I put the thumbnail on this baby, and I put the proper carding and everything in this video, I'm going to viral it, and it's going to go all around the damn world, and it's going to hopefully bring attention to what you brothers are doing.
Yeah,
we appreciate that.
Yeah.
We need to get with you too, so you can retell us what you tried to tell us that one night, shit. Cause we done forgot all that stuff when you were trying to help us to grow the channel and stuff. So we're gonna have to get you to do that again.
Now that I have your personal links, because now what's happened, brother, you're in my Google contacts now. So I'll be able to contact, I already been doing it with Marlo. I can now talk to you privately, outside of all of this. So that's going to help us to be able to do those sort of things, brother. So definitely appreciate that. I want to just tell everybody out there, let me give a little shout. Let me let brother Marlo give his last words. And then what I'll do, I'll end tonight with giving a little love to everybody in the chat room before I.
You gotta let Marlo end the show, though. You gotta let Marlo end the information, man, when you get done.
All right, this is what we're gonna do. Let me just say, Big L, Gamma Ray. I've been playing your beats, brother. It's very nice, very nice. Let me play a little bit of this. Very nice, brother. Very nice. So we got P Money, we got Melanated Nation, Gamma Ray, Cash, me and G. Marlo's Corner, of course, is in there. We got Wama Medina. This is brother, kind of looks like Sugar Ray too. I couldn't make out that pronunciation, but let me scroll up. I know some folks are up in here. We got Real Aaron Collins, Mimi Doll. I know Brother Cap was with us tonight. I know Afrocentric TV was with us tonight. She might have went to sleep now. Brenda Johnson's with us. Shannon Holmes is with us. Let's see, Dark Void is with us. And Ashley D is with us. Bison One is with us. It's a lot of good people in the chat room. I want to thank everybody that's in that chat room. So now, let me bring the music down, and let's come back to Marlo's Corner, brother. Put that crescendo on there for us, brother.
All right, yeah, we definitely got a Facebook page, Instagram, all of us, Marlo's Corner, website, www.marloscorner.com. We just got a Patreon too, Marlo's Corner. We're gonna have some exclusives on there. Man, I appreciate the love. I appreciate the love from you too, information, man. I'm gonna continue to stick around. You see me in the chat all the time.
I love that.
Family out there all the time anyway, but I definitely appreciate you for having us on, man.
Oh yeah, brother. You're gonna see me over, I go over to your channel when you do your live streams, and I try to duck my head in and say what's up.
Yeah.
Get me in there a lot more. Let me give some love to my man Quest COG. He hooked me up with a nice little song for the show tonight, and he hooked me up with a nice little mantra for my show. So I want to give Quest COG a lot of respect. This brother is very talented. He's the one that produced the info song for me. High quality, brother. Thank you very much. So with that said, brother Marlo, I want to thank you again. Trey, I want to thank y'all, brothers. I'm gonna end the show now. I'm gonna leave y'all brothers with. Let
Marlo end it. Let Marlo say the last words, information, man.
The last words, and I'm gonna play this music.
All right.
The COG produced for the show. Go right ahead. Let me turn this volume down, and you go right ahead, brother.
Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you, we're gonna be on tomorrow calling the fights too. If y'all do want to come through, but
yeah, we're gonna be on for 9 International tomorrow calling the fights, man. That's one of our best parts of our show. We call the fights live with the commentary. So y'all come through for International Boxing Channel if y'all want to come chill with us tomorrow.
Okay.
And we gonna call the Regis Prograde fight on our channel too. So it's 2 fight cards tomorrow. We calling both of them. Regis Prograde versus Juan Velasco on our channel, and then we gonna do Manny Pacquiao versus Lucas Matisse on Fanon International Boxing Channel. Come through.
Fantastic, fantastic.
And to all you haters and trolls, the fuck out my gym.
Yeah.
Peace. Here we go, folks. Here we go.
It's the milk, the info. Whatever you want to know, come join the milk, the info show. It's the info. It's the milk, the info. Whatever you want to know.
Make sure you subscribe to Marlo's Corner.
It's the info. Whatever you want to know, come join the milk, the info show. It's the info. We got the info. Whatever you want to know, come join the milk, the info. It's the info. Information, info. Kick it down. This nation, win, lose, or draw. You can bring your hate team, but if you want to win, please don't bring your debate team. We talk to Japanese shogun, Aztec, African dogun. It's the info. It's the milk, the info. Whatever you want to know, come join the milk, the info show. It's the info. It's the milk, the info. Whatever you want to know, come join the milk, the info show. It's the info. It's the info. Whatever you want to know, come join the milk, the info show. It's the info. We got the info. Whatever you want to know, come join the milk, the info show. It's the info man. You can call him information info man. Kicking knowledge all over this nation. Win, lose, or draw. You can bring your hate team, but if you want to win, please don't bring your debate team. We talk to Japanese shogun, Aztecs, old mix, and African dogun.
That's COG. He made that funky beat for me, y'all. I'm gonna let it play one more time before I end it. It's funky.
Whatever you want to know, come join the milk, the info show. It's the info. It's the milk, the info. Whatever you want to know, come join the milk, the info show. It's the info. It's the info. Whatever you want to know, come join the milk, the info show. It's the info. We got the info. Whatever you want to know, come join the milk, the info show. It's the info man. You can call him information info man. Kicking knowledge all over this nation. Win, lose, or draw. You can bring your hate team, but if you want to win, please don't bring your debate team. We talk to Japanese shogun, Aztecs, old mix, and African dogun.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you again. Everybody in the chat room that supported the channel tonight. It was a great program. I pretty much let Marlo's Corner, Brother Trade, just kind of take things over because I wanted you all to get a feel for their style. What you witnessed tonight is a little bit of the style of how they do their show. They're real, they're raw, they pull no punches. And get your butts over there, subscribe, check them out, support these brothers. Where we talk about supporting black folks. They're very positive brothers, by the way. And I love them. So with that said, remember, information is power. And always remember, you know what I always play for you?
Let this be a lesson that black folks need to be codified. We got to stop cooning, love dancing, bootlicking, or cornbread.
It's the info. It's the milk, the info. Whatever you want to know, come join the milk, the info show. It's the info. It's the milk, the info. Whatever you want to know, come join the milk, the info show. It's the info. It's the info. Whatever you want to know, come join the milk, the info show. It's the info. We got the info. Whatever you want to know, come join the milk, the info show. It's the info man. You can call him information info man. Kicking knowledge all over this nation. Win, lose, or draw. You can bring your hate team, but if you want to win, please don't bring your debate team. We talking Japanese shogun, Aztecs, Olmecs, and African Dogon.
Good night, folks. Love you all.